Astronauts to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaron from Jeranism back with another live video for you today. It is Friday. That means it's time for another Jeranism Friday Lounge, number 18. I titled it, What's Next? Because that is the question on everybody's mind, and it's a question I want to ask from some of the panel members today. Also, it's Friday the 13th, which I don't know, brings to mind a recent video put out by the best voice in Flat Earth. Let's introduce her first, Karen B. Karen, what's up?
Hello.
I enjoyed your toilet paper tear film. It's really good. We all need a good laugh every once in a while, and that certainly did it for me.
You have to laugh. If you don't laugh,
you're dead.
You're just going to cry.
Yeah. So laugh. It's better than crying, believe me. So welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well over there. I don't know, you're probably on lockdown, probably on quarantine. The coronavirus is coming for us all. What will we do? All right, let's see who else is joining us. We also have Iru from the land down under. Iru, how are you?
Fine. Clean. We don't have to worry about the corona yet because we have low cases.
Good.
But
good
the pandemic is all over the place. I never thought that this psychopath take it so far. But yeah, it's a test. Some out there are claiming. Even the Grace Dyson said that. But fine. So I'm waiting for who's next. No, what coming next?
Right. Who's next? Who's next is Dr. Rodrigo Ferrari Nunez. Doctor, are you there?
Hello, Jaron. Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Can you take my temperature? Help me out some way, somehow?
No, that's not the kind of doctor I am.
Sorry, I get confused.
But I've been having reports from, of course, there's Zach in trouble.
Yeah.
Zach we know in trouble in Spain. No food in the supermarket, no water. He was going to go foraging. He's going to go fishing for food in the ocean. I know people in Italy, relative in Italy, that was stopped in the street walking the dog by heavily armed police. You cannot leave the house. You can only go to the supermarket at certain hours of the day, only 4 hours a day. It's open now, and it's total
chaos,
lockdown, dictatorship. And of course, in China, I think it's slowing they're turning off the shite. I call it faucet, because now they in their narrative now it starts slowing down. The thing starts going away. So apparently in China, it's what it's doing. So it should do the same in other places.
Well, that's kind of my prediction, and we're going to ask everybody kind of for their prediction. And the thing about predictions is, hey, all of us will probably be wrong. Nobody's claiming they are, soothsayer. They know everything that's going to be happening. But I think sometimes it's fun to get some people's perspective on that. We also have joining us, I think, he's on mute. Let's see, Austin, are you there? Mr. Witsit gets it?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Thanks for joining us. Happy you're here.
Yeah, no problem. I thought my state was actually doing pretty good, not freaking out, but apparently today they've all gone crazy and everything's they're all flooding the supermarkets and stuff. So
it all happened like overnight. It was really crazy. One of the stories, my father goes to spring training for the San Francisco Giants every year down in Scottsdale, Arizona. And he's been going, I don't know how many years, 25 years in a row. Him and a buddy goes. Sometimes they have additional people that go with him. But they go down there for a week and a half or 2 weeks and, stay in a hotel and watch some spring training baseball games. So I talked to him on like Wednesday, and I said, and he's kind of, I don't want to call him mainstream, but I mean, he doesn't think we went to the moon, but most of his other thoughts are pretty in line with mainstream thought. And I just asked him, hey, you going to go to spring training? What's your guys' plan? He's like, oh, fuck them. We're going. I don't care about the stupid coronavirus. We're not letting them get us down. He's like, in fact, there's going to be less people there. It's probably going to be smaller crowds. He's like, I'm kind of excited about it. It's going to be better. So I said, great. And then yesterday he calls me and says, never mind, spring training's canceled.
Everything's canceled. All the schools are closed here as well by, I guess, order of the United States or something.
They
even in Europe, all over Europe.
So it just shows you. And then here in California, I mean, everything is shutting down, of course. My sister works for a museum, and they sent her home to work from home for 3 weeks. She's kind of stoked about that, I guess.
Hey man, at least in the Caribbean, the coronavirus doesn't appear, man. All people in the holidays and vacancies in Acapulco, in those places.
Well, I haven't heard
free.
anything. I haven't heard anything about Mexico. Does Mexico have
Africa
anybody?
too.
I don't even know if I've heard anybody. having
Africa
it.
is also free, corona free.
Of course, man, because it's corona free, but the other 99% of the virus are there. that's the problem with Africa.
Right? How does that all work out? Oh man, it's such crazy nonsense. And I mean, I think I agree with Iru. I think it's a test, a plan. My prediction, as weird as it sounds, because it also seems like they could push this all the way to the end if they wanted. But I think my prediction is that this will clear up in the coming month or so, and the answer will be because of all governments. Because governments stepped in, governments stopped sports, governments stopped travel, and they're the heroes. You know, it's the
Acted quickly.
They acted quickly. They're so impressive. You know, we all would have died if it wasn't for that. And then it kind of sets up for some future event where more of our liberties are taken away. It's the same thing. I mean, you could look at 9/11. Look how much changed with 9/11. Even if you believe the story, the story is 3,000 people died. And with those 3,000 deaths, they were basically able to change the world, right? So it kind of seems like the same thing. I mean, how many deaths have they even said this coronavirus has brought? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the weird stories, too, that I thought was hilarious, and I'll bring up this on, let's see if I can bring up my browser. I have a little story here that I thought, this is the one where I heard, I'm like, oh, my goodness. So did you guys hear about the Utah Jazz basketball player?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I see it. How he touched everything when he stand up and left the room. But like you said, this event is going to change the world again. You know, a few liberties maybe, or is going to cut off some kind of freedoms in terms of who knows what.
Well,
but
we're just
for
doomed
sure,
for the
this
future,
is not
right?
going to be just like a random, virus out there. They're going to use it for something else.
Right, and it seems like they're setting that up quite well. And I mean, we failed the test miserably. I mean, people just going out, buying everything they possibly can, freaking out, stressing out, shutting everything down. I mean, this just, I'm sure the powers that should not be look at this and go, wow, look what we did without even trying. You know, without even trying, they were able to do this. So the whole basketball story, which was classic, is this guy, Gobert, I think is his name. Anyway, he was doing a press conference, and they were asking about coronavirus, and he was saying he's not worried about it. And here's the little video of him getting up from the desk and purposely, here you see his hands, and then he goes back and purposely touches all the mics, right? Touches the table, touches the thing. These guys laugh. They think it's funny. All right, funny story, right? The thing is that he ended up testing the next day as the first NBA basketball player with the virus. So it's kind of like, it's the same thing as Steph Curry. You know, Steph Curry comes out and says we didn't go to the moon. You do that, boom, you have to retract. You're going to have to go on Jimmy Kimmel. You're going to have to go take a trip to NASA. You're going to have to make moon shoes and auction them off. It's like the same thing with this guy. This guy makes fun of the coronavirus, and the next day they're like, oh, yeah? You got the coronavirus. How about that?
You got it.
So, I mean, it's the same thing.
Crazy.
It's so funny.
It's like a dictatorship, you know, I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's a scientific dictatorship.
The one that's kind of funny, too, is Trump won't take the test.
Yeah, they say a Brazilian guy has it who talked to Trump.
Right.
So then they need to test him because this thing's so violent. It passes, goes so quickly, goes everywhere. Here, if you are not allowed to take a wallet to the bathroom because you may get it that way or may pass it that way.
What?
Yeah.
Can't take your wallet or your phone? What do you mean? Wallet?
Yeah, wallet. And both. There's been news out saying that your phone increases, if you take your phone to the bathroom, increases your chances of getting it as well. So they have all kinds of stories from all over the place. But they don't tell us that every year, just from the normal influenza virus, there's 55 or 1,000 more deaths just in the United States, the regular flu. 55,000 deaths. And that's, you know, a number that's comparable to suicides, and there's all these other kinds of deaths. Of course, medical errors are way high up in the list. I think the 250,000 deaths. If you've seen the video, there was a video by Russian Vids. Some of the statistics are wrong because there's more suicides than what he showed. But anyway, the point is that there's so many other things that are very, very dangerous, killing tens of thousands of people a year. And this thing apparently killed 1,000 people so far. And they do
I think
all this.
2018, I think there were, what, 80,000 deaths from the flu in the U.S. alone, and we didn't even hear about it.
Right.
No, of course not. They're not going to talk about that. And I heard a number today that, when you hear this number, you're like, oh, man, this is why I think that they'll be able to say this number and then solve the solution and say, look what great jobs the government did. Because this study out of San Francisco said that half of all people will have the coronavirus within 60 days. So half of people in the United States. This was talking about United States, but it said half of the people in the United States will have the coronavirus within 60 days, and 1% of them will die. So if half the people in the United States is 150 million, and 1% of those is 1.5 million. So they're saying 1.5 million people will be dead within 75 days. That's the report. Of course, I'm not saying that. That's what they're projecting. So it's just funny because if they shut this down and they get it all cleared, they'll say, oh, we saved the lives of 1.5 million people. We saved 150 million people from getting sick. And this is a scientific study, and I don't know if you can doubt science.
It's just, how quickly. Go
No,
ahead.
I like to ask you because you name Russian Beats, and I don't know if you saw the video when this guy is going out from some office and cross over like a car and change color in the
I saw it.
book.
The book, yeah.
What the hell is that?
That is
Yeah.
The environment,
it's an official
the budget,
Environment budget, green
the
budget.
chancellor.
but it's
the
official
chancellor.
video. I mean, it's not some kind of deep
That's
fake,
right.
nothing like it's wow. That's
It's
great.
from
right,
a
like
live
in
video
your
on
face.
Sky News. Actually,
Wow.
because I saw that video and I was like, man, did that really happen? Where's the original video for that? And so I was fishing around trying to find the original video outside of Russian vids video. And I found this article. There's an article from one news source that I found that says, why does this book change color? It's like a
Oh, they
you know,
asked
they
it
were
somewhere?
reporting on Sky News having video on a
great.
live feed where the book changed color, and they weren't like, it was just a regular. It didn't look like a
Yeah,
book
and in
changes
fact,
as well.
and not only change, but the color is orange.
The first color.
The first color, right? Or
well,
it
it's
was
red.
red.
It's like this red,
No, red.
book,
Okay.
briefcase book
okay.
thing that he carries
is.
around, and it
Okay.
changed to green. Yeah.
No, crazy. The crazy things. I mean,
Yeah, I have no
These
idea. I'm
guys-
bringing it up just so I can show. I don't know if everybody's seen it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was sitting there. I was even talking to David about it. I'm like, what is going on? I can't follow what's going on there. Why would they do that? And it just makes no sense to me. Here, I'll bring it up for everyone to see. Let me pause this and bring this over.
They're just mocking, I guess. It's one of the theories.
I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, Iru, I was going to ask you about it too. I know you have some obviously rendering background. I mean, how could this take place?
no, I don't know. If you want to do it in terms of motion graphic, computer graphics, it's very easy. But I don't know what is the motive behind that. I mean, if this is a real news and a real video, it's crazy to think why they're going to change like that. If you want to, you can change on, on public. Someone else coming into the scene and give you another book, and everything is fine. But doing in that way is really crazy.
Yeah, so we're watching.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never saw something like that in
Look at that.
No.
Past the car, suddenly.
past the car and
Boom.
green. But it's
Yeah,
there
have
is
y'all
no-
heard the theory
the
about
thing
it?
is-
Yeah, there's a.
the-
Go ahead. No, tell
no,
us.
but I just gonna say, like, the thing is, the guy don't even move to change
Yeah.
something. It's
Right.
not something that, okay, I move the shoulders and turn the shoulders to the right, pick some new book, and no, it's like just walking and suddenly bloom, change color of the book. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Right.
And
So
it's
y'all have all heard of QAnon, of course, right? The whole QAnon thing. The theory, what's going around. The theory is that this was done on purpose to show you that it's been greenlit. The plan has been greenlit So it went from the red light to the green light, right? And the
Ah.
theory is that they're going with this cover story of coronavirus to quarantine everyone, to shut all the schools down so that they can get all the kids off the streets. They can shut down all the major sporting events so that these elites that are about to go down and this major bust of pedophilia and stuff, they can't pull out these false flag attacks on schools and big sporting events and stuff because they'll all be shut down and they're going to go round them all up. That's the QAnon take.
Wow.
And
So
it appears here
it's a
even
good thing then. in a
I
way.
saw the.
According to Q, yeah.
I mean, here it's still red. At least through this reflection, I can
You
see
see
it.
through the reflection there.
Yeah, just right there, it's red. But then the very next second, it's green.
CGI.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, if you want to change color in post-production, it's very easy. But if this is official video, I don't know why they're going to do something like that. Yeah, could be green light for this, but it's something I don't know.
And the whole.
You
it's not
you
like-
would make a thing that follows the movement, right? Either like you create a mask on the how
Oh
would it
yeah, no,
technically work?
that is very easy to track.
Uh-huh.
You track the motion. No,
Tracker.
that's very easy to do. But in fact, for example, at that point, I think it disappeared like the metal thing or the
frame
logo,
around.
the logo in the front with the letters also
part.
because
The
there you
letters
have.
disappear?
There you have the letters and the logo, and then when pass over the car, when he goes out the car, at the beginning is something, you can see like the gold there,
Yeah.
but then if you go forward in the video, I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the angle of the book, but it's
Disappeared
like.
now. Look at that, it's not there.
No, could be the angle, but there there is, it's
And then it
there you
kinda-
go.
Yeah,
There
that's
is no-
weird. What?
No, that is CGI. I mean,
gone,
that's
yeah.
that was for me the original books is red, and that was made in post production for someone that maybe could,
I just don't know how
I
you
don't know.
believe. How we
I
can
don't know the
believe
motive
anything on
behind.
the news anymore. How do you believe anything anymore?
Yeah.
With nonsense like that happening. I mean, that's clear as could be.
That's crazy.
I put the article that corroborates that
Oh yeah, I'll
in the
check it out. Let
link
me
in
see.
the chat if you want to look at it.
In the Skype chat or on the YouTube chat?
Skype,
Okay, yeah, let me go there.
both.
And wondering what people say in the chat too. I'll have to check that out in a second. Let me bring up this. Too many things to do. All right, this. Let's see, Karen. Sky News viewers turn detective. Okay. Oh wow. Let's see here. And what did they give an answer? Karen, do they say?
No, they just talk about how mysterious it is, or like this was on a live broadcast of Sky News, and the book changes color. I mean, they don't really have an answer.
Sky News viewers did a double
Calling
take
it
when the
magic.
Chancellor's red Treasury folder appeared to change color on live TV. The folder switched from its usual red to green during a news bulletin, with some calling it magic. Walk out with a number 10.
Some call it NASA.
Yeah, exactly. Some couldn't help but make a comparison to one of the Chancellor's budget pledges, which is a review of the government's Green Book investment rules. What the hell? But many believe it has been edited, with one making a reference to how the clip could have been a scene in a BBC surveillance thriller, The Capture, which throws into question the idea that the video never lies. Oh yeah, that's something totally different.
Looks like a coffin.
Is this what it's supposed to be? No. What?
Yeah, that's the case he keeps walking around with, parading everywhere, the budget.
Wow, I don't know. Green budget, cue the green book. Another simply wrote magic. Sky News is yet to comment on the footage. Huh. Interesting indeed. I have no idea what to think of that, other than how can you trust anything anymore?
Right.
But the one thing you can trust, though, is exoplanets. because they're
Oh
That's
yeah,
easy to confirm.
that's
No,
that's confirmed. That's science.
Because it rains. Rains
Yeah.
iron. Do you see that one?
Oh yeah, I have it up here. Let's see here. This one.
silicon rains that you have in some planets.
Iron
We have
rain.
iron.
That's
I
for
want the
sure.
diamond rain. Where's the diamond rain? That's at Neptune.
Saturn, I
Uranus?
think. Saturn, maybe.
No, that smells like fart, Uranus. It's a
Uranus has the diamond core, doesn't it?
That's the one that
Or
expels
is that
gas.
Neptune?
Uranus expels gas out its crack. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
at night, the gas falls from the sky. In Uranus, they say.
Yeah, it excretes out the whole. Yeah. Fabio Arias, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Our, I don't understand you." Oh, Iru maybe. Our, I don't understand you. And Jaren, no te entiendo tampoco. What's that mean, Iru? I need a translation.
No entiendo is I don't understand.
What's
I understand
know.
you.
What's tampoco?
Tampoco is like either.
Also.
Oh, okay.
No, also.
Then he said, "Just kidding, love you guys." All right, well, thank you for.
Okay,
keeping
thank you.
that.
Thank you so much.
An international team of astronomers has discovered an exoplanet where it rains iron.
Wow.
This is good stuff here, man. And how I love. Tell me first how far away this place is away. Just like, okay, here we go. Exoplanet is located 360 million light years away.
Wow.
It's easy.
Turn around. Yeah. Turn the corner.
It's
Around
down
the
the
corner.
corner. Around the corner.
Can we do the math on that? 360 million.
Be careful because you are operating on Windows and maybe that calculation is going to blow up your computer, okay?
Am I not going to be able to handle this? Times 6 trillion. That's million. Wait. Million, billion, trillion equals. Okay, 2.16. And we just need to move this decimal 21 times in this direction.
For miles or for kilometers?
That's miles.
That's very important.
Yeah, that's miles.
Yeah, if it's
Big
miles,
difference.
that's a big difference than kilometers.
It's
Yeah.
miles. So it's welcome everybody, Dave, to the show.
You can do it in centimeters, for be more.
2.16.
Yeah, that would be more impressive.
So it'd be 216. I'd be moving it once, twice. Wait, 2.16. So once, twice. That's twice. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So there's your number. That's how many miles. It can't. I mean, this is just so ridiculous. This is so stupid. I can't handle it.
Look at that.
There you go. So it's million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, whatever that number is, septillion. 2 septillion miles away. Oh boy, Dave, I believe
Maybe
that.
they need to
60.
use this kind of telescope to look into the coronavirus and show us
Oh, please.
one and for all, one isolated virus in the history of the medicine,
I missed the beginning. It's raining iron on that planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they sure it's not raining aluminum or maybe strontium or
No,
another metal?
No, they can figure it out, Dave. They just have to. They just have to peer through their telescope. Haven't you known they have a telescope for this? I forgot what it's called. There's a name for this telescope. Oh, they use the espresso telescope. There you go.
it's a
Espresso.
coffee. Okay, very good.
You want to take a
Look
coffee?
at the artist's impression, though. That's very impressive. Look at that. That's how it looks there when it
Artist's
rains
impression
iron.
of the
Yeah,
atmosphere.
it's iron, but hot iron. It's liquid iron. Maybe this is the planet where Terminator 2 came to Earth.
Came from. Oh yeah, he was born there, forged in the mines of.
And after it rains iron, does it rust and then go, recycle and rain again?
Oh, and they know it's tidally locked, and it keeps the same face towards the object that it orbits. Man. And I saw in the same story somewhere it talks about there's a new teardrop sun.
Oh
that they
yeah,
found
sun, teardrop sun. I saw that one too.
Teardrop shaped sun. The sad
That
thing is,
works
I mean,
with gravity.
if,
It's a half gravity is crooked there.
if you asked 100 people on the street, wouldn't 98 of them believe this story? Maybe 99?
Science says it.
Yeah. It's so easy. You could say anything. Oh, here it is. Amateur astronomers helped discover incredible teardrop-shaped star. Because that makes a lot of sense when it comes to...
Well, why couldn't there be a teardrop-shaped star if you believe the Earth is flat while all the other planets are around?
Right.
Right.
I mean, you could just go and go and
Go
go
forever.
with this. It's ridiculous.
It's so
There
stupid.
could be a
It's so sad.
teardrop-shaped star. Sure, why not?
Sure.
Some stars don't even seem to have a shape. from what we can tell.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jared, you were talking about that distance, to 6 trillion, whatever the number is.
Right.
You know how we talk about 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. So,
Right.
break that out into miles. What is the fastest thing actual that's ever been measured? Like, is it an airplane going maybe
Sure.
3,000 miles an hour?
Yeah, 3 or 4 probably. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4. So that's it. So, like, the speed of the ISS, 17,500 miles per hour, I don't think that exists.
No, me
Not
neither.
the ISS, that speed.
And the shuttle is supposedly same speed.
Oh, I think it goes 25,000 miles per hour.
The shuttle?
But-
No. I don't think it ever went that fast.
Doesn't it have to go that fast to get out of orbit or something?
Yeah, but it never left
It's
orbit.
the same velocity as the escape velocity, 17,500.
It's so.
They
freaking
have a
powerful.
little Wikipedia thing for that, where you just mentioned, David, like the records for the speeds, and it jumps. There's some experimental, what we can actually verify are from these military airplanes that start melting when they get to 3, 4, or 5 maximum. I think Mach 5, but I think the shuttle is Mach 17 or 20 or something like this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Remember in the video I pointed out that the separation of the boosters, we could hear it at the same time we saw it, and it should have been 90 seconds delayed.
That's because the film was edited, Dave. They added in the sound that somebody picked up by being out
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
ocean.
but I found it when I was looking. I found another one that had the same thing that wasn't edited, but this one wasn't edited. They changed that after the fact. But the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion, that should have had like a minimum of a 20-second delay, but we saw the explosion and heard it at the same time.
Yeah, it's speakers right there, the showgrounds, probably.
Yeah.
Do you remember I did a video a
no
long time ago
explanation
about
for that.
all the speakers that are underneath those things? You ever seen that? All the
Oh, really?
speakers.
That must be.
Yeah, because they rumble that thing and have to make the ground shake a little bit. But
Yep.
there's speakers underneath there. Huge speakers.
The fact that we heard it and saw it at the same time proves undoubtedly that it's fake. And if that's fake, the entire thing is fake.
Right. If they
Where's
faked part
the
of it,
speakers?
why
You
would
say
believe anything?
they admit this?
I don't know if they admit it. I've seen photos of it. Let me see if I can find something and bring it up.
We know that the whole smoke. I mean, David has shown it many times, and different with the Russians as well. The smokes that come out before the rockets even fired up. That's big red flag as well.
Well, they say that that's steam, but
Steam to cool it. What's it for?
I don't know. It's like the water is being sprayed, and then it's steam or something. I don't know. Let me see if I can find any of the speakers stuff. You ever seen any of those, like the NASA speakers that are? I don't know. I'll have to find it.
No, I never paid attention to that.
Smart move.
No, so for me it's something new. So show us, teach us.
I'm gonna have to see. if I
Steam
can-
is it Steam? Is that like their cloud maker machine that was in that
Yeah, they
video?
have that too. That was
Is that what
pretty
they do
crazy.
when to fake their to make their liftoff look all fancy? They do the cloud machine.
I mean, there's those plants in the middle of the Pacific that also pump up clouds and vapor and create storms.
It's like this room here. Look how small
that's
look how small the
some
people
nice-
are.
Wow, it's like the speakers in Back to the Future 1.
Can you guys see? I don't know if you're looking at this yet.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can see. And I don't know where this is at. It's somewhere at NASA. And they supposedly they play all these speakers to see if these machines work, or if they can handle the sound or something. I don't know.
Right?
But I've also
Acoustic
seen
test.
yeah, acoustic testing.
But those speaker is for vibration tests, things like that. Or
Supposedly.
what? Mostly.
Vibration test, yeah. Here's some pictures of
Okay.
like this guy's size compared to these speakers.
They're supposedly blasting the machines with a lot of sound to see whether they can take it. I think supposedly.
There you go. There's a
Suppo-
picture of it. But I also think that I've seen underneath that little launching pad. I'll have to look for it. That there's some sort of speakers under there as well.
I wonder how many decibels that thing goes up to.
Huge, I think. Well, I think anything. Isn't there a certain number where nothing can withstand it? Like I don't know.
Yeah, oh, it will
160
things,
or something decibels, or
yeah,
be
Bob
off
was
of that
talking
number.
about this. He said that it can liquefy stuff depending on how
Right.
many decibels you get.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it goes to whatever the max is, but
But
anywho,
doesn't the shuttle launch supposedly go louder than that?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
their
those numbers.
claims, that's the problem. I think there's a problem Bob had, is that the claims they make about the decibels are not sustainable. Like the astronauts on top of it would be screwed. With those,
Yeah, Bob
that many
says 220. So they claim that the sound that the launch makes is 220 decibels.
Mhm.
So they can't even test up to that high.
Right. There's just so many problems with the story they tell that you find them everywhere. That's what a lot of people who don't know about it coming fresh don't get it. They think really that people who are questioning this stuff are just, doing what Professor Dave says or something.
So this, of course, is the story that SpaceX is going to put people in their little capsule and send them 2 to 3 times higher than the ISS by late 2021, mid 2022. So remember that date, because I promise you it'll never happen. Just like everything else that they keep saying that never happens. It's no different.
What about the 1,000 ships? Isn't that the new one? I thought that's what Elon Musk was working on now.
Yeah, where's that article? Do I have that here?
1,000 a ship every like 72 hours, but then he made an announcement after that saying that he wonders if we'll get to Mars before he's dead.
Right. So
the
which
only
one
thing
is it?
you can conclude from that is he's going to be dead soon.
Aren't we
We're
all?
going to Mars.
Get rid of him. It's already so
Dave
embarrassing.
join because he's got so much to say.
Well,
No, I'm not gonna do
wait,
it.
there was something you couldn't answer the other day. Oh yeah, it was the the book. I was talking to Dave about the color changing book. I'm like, what's Baller
Baller
Dave's
Dave.
answer? And
Hold on, let me get him.
okay, Baller Dave. I'll bring it up here so we can see. Baller Dave, I have something to you to look at real quick.
Go ahead. I'm here.
So I don't know if you've seen it, but this particular video here shows this guy walking with a red folder, and then it turns into a green one. What's
what
explained to me?
news outlet gave you that? Sky News?
Sky
That's
News.
reputable.
That's Baller Dave's best. See, this is a poor job by Baller Dave. Usually he comes with something. Now, so what you're saying, Baller Dave, is that we cannot trust the news.
Sky News, CNN, you can trust. Fox, you can trust.
You can trust space news. Yeah, not Sky News.
Space.com, yeah.
Oh,
All right,
space
that's
news.
not for him.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Mike's wondering, are they revealing themselves, or they're just like rubbing it in our faces, like, hey, we can do anything, and you sheep will buy it. Did they not think that people would notice? Is it some sort of wizardry that they had to do, and they hoped that we didn't notice? I don't think so.
It's just crazy.
So what is
Dave,
your real
did you-
opinion of
Did
it?
you hear the Q take on it?
Yeah, go ahead and tell him that.
Yeah, supposedly this is all part of the plan, the QAnon plan, and so they're
Right,
about
but
to roll out
green
their
lit.
plan. And so yeah, exactly. Now this is the green light. So this is they did this so they could let everyone know the plan had been activated for those that are in the know and they know what's going on.
Karen, you put a message that you heard. Now it could be totally fake. You have any source behind that voice message you got about total quarantine?
No, that's just something that's getting passed around Facebook. I mean, you could take it for what it is.
Yeah,
You know?
you got no source.
No.
Got no source.
What is it? Somebody saying that
So,
it's going to get worse?
To lend to the credit of that, though, there are places that are already closing schools down for a month, and that's
Oh yeah, that's
that's
happening.
basically
everywhere.
what that message is saying, is that they're closing everything down for 4 weeks.
You know what? Here's what I'll say about it.
Happening.
I love the story. I hope it's true, but I'm not. That's about it. It's a great story, and but why is Fox and CNN both going along with the same plan?
Yeah, they need to do that from time to time to keep the idea that they're actually independent, right?
Yep.
I
This
mean,
is-
there's like 1,500 indictments or something like that, supposedly.
Right now, at this moment, for in these cases, they're under the rug.
The lines at the grocery store here are insane.
So
What's going
stupid.
on? People have lost their minds.
Dave, how good do you feel to have yourself a water distiller.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man, isn't it awesome right now? I've never
Well,
been
you
so
know,
happy.
even in times of like, if I didn't have it during regular times, I would be like, "What the heck am I going to drink?"
Right.
I mean, you can never go back to regular water after that.
And it's so funny. I mean, there's no water anywhere, and I'm hearing people freak out everywhere about not being able to get water, and that's just one worry I don't have.
You have to have, if the power goes out, your distiller's useless. So you have to have a gravity filter.
Oh, great! Is that what's
Don't-
coming next?
don't
now?
give
Unless,
idea.
of course, you have some solar panels and a battery.
Well, I don't know if they can, add that to their chaos right now. How are they going to be able to say we need to turn off the power so that people don't transmit the disease to one another?
It goes
I don't know.
through electricity. It goes by Wi-Fi as well.
Oh, great.
So I want to throw something out there that's really out there, and it's like, connecting, putting things together. But I believe that this, as you said earlier, this is a test run to see how far they can push us. That's what the whistleblower on Crow said. That's kind of, what a lot of things are saying. This is a test run. Then they'll pull back, and then they'll come out again, maybe the end of this year, maybe in 5 years. Who knows? And they'll claim that the whole thing was stopped because they grounded the airlines and took the kids out of school, and the virus had no place to go. Neil deGrasse Tyson's already saying that, that we'll stop it and then it'll disappear and spring will come and everyone will forget and they could start up the school bang bang events again, and all is well. So what is the greatest secret that the elite cannot let get out?
That everything's a lie.
Flat Earth.
What's the one thing
Oh,
that when people see it, they'll never go back to giving their power away?
the shape of the good old Earth.
Yes, the construction of the earth, who we are, where we are, and what we are. And we are gaining tons of momentum. There's lots of people that are waking up to this. Maybe they're pushing up their plan to disrupt society, to push their, depopulation, whatever it is. Whether it's real or not, people are acting like it's real, and that's all that matters. So I'm saying that this is related to the information on the globe lie, because if everyone wakes up to the flat Earth, it's over. They're finished in 100 Ways to Sunday.
It's true.
Yeah, and I want to hear some other people's ideas. Rodrigo, where do you think this is all going?
Well, I understand the point here Dave is making, the distraction, right? They, before 9/11 or during 9/11 or 9/11 was a cover-up for many other things, right, that were going on, like the money that disappeared from the Pentagon and so on. So, I mean, that there's this, strategy, tactic of distractions that we see all the time happening. And imagine a world that supposedly has so many people, so many cultures, and all you see is the same news about the same thing, like nothing else is happening. And how many celebrities are having it, what they say about it, the day-to-day from Tom Hanks, how he's dealing with it. You can follow online all these storylines that they have prepared, it brings us back to the news benders. I mean, that thing, I don't know how that came out, how that's still out, but it really lays out the whole plan, how they play the game, how it works, essentially.
Somebody in the chat said they agree with Durst. Says too many are waking up, so they are ramping up the chaos.
I mean, there's a way to distract people a bit when you're afraid. Are you going to think about whether the shape of the earth is this or that, right? You need to get food. Things go back to basics. David was talking about that
hand, no one's going to want to talk about this. We're going to stop talking about it because we're going to be focusing on, food, survival, protection,
right?
Whatever. And, they quarantine everybody and, perhaps they turn the power off. They just stop supplies. I mean, have you seen the videos of the shipping ports? They're empty. The busiest shipping port has got no containers in it.
That's crazy because that can disrupt, the flow of goods in terms of food. And in 3 days, the whole world will be out of food.
And just in my area, from the few people I talk to, because I barely talk to anybody anymore because they're nuts. They're laying off people. They're not hiring people. They're retracting offers that they've given to people for jobs. They're kids are out of school. Parents can't go to work because their kids are home.
Right.
I mean, The
that's where Owen is so right.
Destruction is a 1,000 times worse than what they're saying the virus would do.
Yeah, more people will die because of the economy. That is so true. And what they're doing then would have been killed by said virus. SWH says the Hong Kong riots came to a quick end. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, Q's got to answer for that too, guys. So y'all are tripping. Y'all didn't know.
What's the answer? Tell us.
The answer is, well, they're letting the economy crash because they had to get rid of the current economic system, so they're letting it reset. And then the reason that they're letting the ports shut off is so that everyone will have to, buy things domestically. So when they re-implement the gold standard, the economy will shoot back up because all shopping will be done domestically.
Thomas Inho 78 says it's like a magic trick to keep your sight in a different direction, which is certainly what it seems like. I mean, they're able to. I mean, the news. There's nothing else. It's like nothing else is going on in the world. How did that all happen?
Right?
Every other day, the news has things to talk about for hours and hours and hours. They can go on and on about all these topics. Now, all of a sudden, there is no more news in the world. There's nothing.
You know what it reminds me of?
No more shootings either.
The THX 1138 film. The George Lucas film, one of his first films, there's a remote control scene where when he is in jail and they, I guess, installed this stuff on him and they control this one guy in this dystopian world. And I think it's an ultimate kind of transhumanist film. It's got some of the plan there as well. People medicated, like zombies watching porn and getting. In that film, they collect sperm also from their subjects, and they grow people in glasses and whatnot, in jars. So this is kind of like the remote control that they have, that they can just point to different directions, and everyone just, like you just mentioned, their view is geared. It's like track makes people turn the direction. They test this. They've been testing this. Now with all the phones we have and all the computers on the internet, then it's tighter for them to push these buttons.
What about when this thing completely disappears? Right. All of the truther channels that fell for it, that totally thought it was
They'll
real.
just go back to regular life. This cheeky F.E. Carey says, me and my husband are just recovering from this. Very nasty cough. So much ribs ache and fever for 3 days. Symptoms gone now, but staying indoors for the next week. The problem is that because of what you've seen on the news, now you think that what you had was the coronavirus. But how do you know that?
I was sick for a month. I never get sick.
Right.
And when I do, it's a couple days, years and years ago. I was sick for a month.
But what a time to have this come down, because everybody gets sick sometime between January and April. And I mean,
timing is everything.
Everybody has a little cough for 2-3 days. It doesn't bother anybody. People go to work. People get by. People, even children go to school. It's like not a problem.
The other thing is, this time of year, like when you're you don't have your vitamin D, and then you're stressed, and then you're in fear, you limit the amount of oxygen that your body intakes. Add some 5G into that too, which limits your oxygen.
Right.
You're gonna get sick. Your immunity is down, and then you get sick, and you're like, oh my God, they were right. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then so many of these channels saying, look at the stores. There's nothing on the shelves. That proves this is real. No, that proves people are sheep.
People are worried and people are scared and fearful.
Remember that we last time we talked about, David, when you came along, we were talking about 3/11, but it was 3/11 for November. What came out on 3/11, which was a couple of days ago, is that right? That's that couple of days ago, right? Tom Hanks getting sick and all this other stuff being pushed. Yeah. So that's what it was.
If you believe that this was real, and then the thing with Tom Hanks comes out and doesn't convince you, I don't know what will convince you.
That's right.
Poor Tom.
And the sun. I really like the tattoos that the sun.
Oh my God, what is up with the sun? Talk about it.
I was looking at his tattoos earlier today. I was like translating the Latin on it and stuff.
I couldn't get my eye off the all-seeing eye right in the center.
What is this video you sent me, Iru? I have it up.
I sent you. This is amazing. For me, it's a really nice channel that I met in Instagram. It's called Research Flat Earth. It's the administrator is from Mexico, but he uploaded all the times really nice things and nice document. And this one in particular is a real case. that took place in 1976 about the flu vaccination that was, created by propaganda of the United government, and how many people get really bad in terms of paralysis and things like that for the shot of the vaccine. And it's an interview with some of the people that was affected, and also for the two guys that was created the vaccines. And in fact, if you go a little backward, not so much. Let me go forward. Go forward. More. A little more. It's in the office. The guy who is in the office is that one. That one is the doctor, that the biologist that create the vaccine and implemented the campaign. But that was for real, and I just pasted because copy and paste the link for you show to the people, because if you take the time, it's only 16 minutes, but if you take the time to see the whole complete interview, it's not so different that what is going today,
right?
Because after all, when you put everything that we talk about what is going to be the next steps. But one of those next steps, of course, is selling us the vaccine, right?
Right. Well, did you see this this story out of Denmark just earlier today? Denmark rushes through emergency coronavirus law. I saw this part that was interesting. As well as enforcing quarantine measures, the law also allows the authorities to force people to be vaccinated.
Wow.
Even though there is currently no vaccination for the virus.
That's for sure, man. I mean, they are going to obligate people to do that.
Right.
That is one of the next step. You can be sure it's one of those is this one.
Well, look at what else they tried. This is, I guess, a blessing in disguise here. It says, initially, the government wanted the law to give the police the right to enter private homes without a court order if there is suspicion of a coronavirus infection, but this was dropped after opposition from parties in the parliament.
Oh my God! Thank God that wasn't the case, because that's just like China. That's dictatorship. That's
what was always happening. They give you a little bit and take a little bit away, right? So I mean, it's like people like us. We might say, "Oh, this is good that this happened," but we fail to realize this one, that they have the authority to make people be vaccinated, even though there's currently no vaccination for the virus. So even though there's no vaccination, even though there's no safe vaccination, it's the law now that they can force you to be vaccinated.
But here's the thing. That's the psyop right there. They make a law, and then you believe that law has authority over you, and then you say okay. But there is no law over you.
No.
So whether there's a law, a statute, a ruling, whatever, you say no.
Say no.
And they cannot give you that vaccination.
Say no. That's all you got to do, and don't be so damn afraid that you go buy all the damn water and toilet paper so nobody else can get any.
Exactly. I sent you a video that was, all over the place in the WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, things like that. It's supposedly from China. I don't know if it's real or not.
Let me see.
But for me, because it's a compilation, of course. So.
Fake.
Could be fake.
People falling over.
Of course, could be fake.
Hold on.
That is why
How do I pause this? Okay, I gotta bring it up for everybody else.
The disclaimer could be fake, of course. But when you see that there is some part of the video where there are just regular people filming, for example, there is a guy from Mexico living in the Wahoo, I don't know how to pronounce the city, Wuhan. And they film it, and that's for real. Of course, nobody in the street, nobody, nothing. But the video itself, it's the Chinese has this kind of behavior, and I am not talking about that first part of the video. I'm talking about what you're gonna see in the future of the video. But
what are these supposed to be? Dead people?
Supposedly, could be homeless. If you read the text, it's saying that there are dead bodies on the street.
It's filmed and portrait. It's fake.
For me, it's fake. I mean, you are not going to leave dead bodies like that, But I
mean, that scene
drop in
takes
the
20
video
minutes
to
to set
share
up.
and see
Jared,
the people.
I have a video. I put a video in the chat from some craziness that's going on here. It's like 7 seconds, but play it.
What are
You
these
don't
guys doing?
know
Look
it.
at these guys are in chains.
Yeah.
That kind of things in
man.
China. My mother was 2 times in China, in 2011 and 2013. And for example, in some cities of China, the homeless people, they are outside in the street, but they own put inside like a cage to ask for money. And that's
Really?
that kind of behavior. Yeah. And I have a picture. I see my mother film it because she
impress the tourists, you mean?
she couldn't believe it. Yeah, exactly. In some towns where there are tourists, the homeless people, before asking for money with their hands, they put inside like a tiny cages that are attached to the wall, and they take out the arm from the cages and ask for money to the tourists. I mean, China has these kind of things that there are even unthinkable in the occidental part of the world. But well, I shared the video because for me.
Before you play that, Darren, wait.
Okay.
Wait. Before you air it, I just want to you better preview it before you air it. Because I don't want to get a strike.
There'll be a strike for this?
No, I don't know. Just take a look at it. 7 seconds.
There's no way you get a strike for that.
Okay, good.
I don't.
That is a complete acting, man. I mean,
here.
you cannot compare. You cannot compare this with my video. Sorry,
No,
Dave.
come on. It's just as real as yours.
No way. No way.
Here we go.
My video is better
The
than.
sound is really good. You got to play the sound.
He sneezed, so there you go. Disinfect.
He shoots her, and then they all spray Lysol on
All right,
her.
one more time.
And the woman goes back on her phone. She's talking on the phone after.
It's coming.
Back to the crossword puzzle. I love
It's coming. The only thing better would be if this was a Corona sign in the back.
Right.
it. Oh, I didn't even notice the beer.
It'd be
Yeah,
great
that's
if it
right.
was.
Think about the planning. The guy had to get the people together. He got to get out there. Well done. I want to know who did that.
If I had any damn friends, I could do stuff like that. But
So Trump declared a national emergency.
yeah, I think I saw that. Whatever that means. I mean,
What does that mean?
yeah, the last
I
time
don't know,
the last
I don't
time that a public emergency or a national emergency was called for, it was President Clinton for SARS or one or the other, something that never came to
yeah,
fruition.
right.
I'm not sure if that's true. I gotta find out when. I think. Let me look it up. When did Clinton? I'll have to look it up. Let me see here.
It wasn't 9/11 or something like this.
No, I think I don't know. Clinton national emergency.
Hey, don't get stressed for typing with the keyboard, man. National. Come on, you are just typing on the keyboard. You don't.
You know why I
to
have to
write.
do that is because my keyboard has to.
Take it easy. Jen.
I have to
Take
pull
it
it out.
Those
to
guys,
pull it
like,
out.
when you have the flu, the regular flu, do you think you could fight off 4 cops like that?
Yeah,
I could barely put a shirt on.
Did you see the one where they running?
No, but that
Distraction.
doesn't mean that the guy has the flu. You can be suspected of having the flu because they put that plastic gun in the brain and push the button, and some red light appears in the equipment, and okay, this guy has a coronavirus. You are, hey man, no, I'm completely safe.
That's what it is.
And no.
No, I saw once there was them pushing a stretcher, the 4 nurses pushing a stretcher really fast, and when they pass the camera guy, they just go into a corridor and they stop and they turn around and they start lounging. So
How
didn't know
people
there was
can't
all
see this.
these,
Owen made a comment. Some people might get upset, but I'll repeat it. He has what he calls meat chickens, and the meat chicks. He has these little chicks. He goes, they're so stupid. Like they'll eat the box. He goes, he doesn't mind killing them for food. And that's how the elite look at people, that they're so stupid they believe they live on a spinning ball. I mean, it's the same. It's
Yeah,
the
they look
same
at us
thing.
like ants. It's the same thing. We walk around. We don't pay attention to the ants we step on in our daily business. And sometimes
I mean, when you see a lower intelligent not that well, I let spiders out of the house now, right? I don't kill anything, but I'll eat dead meat, so I'll admit that. But when you look at something that's really lower intelligence, you kind of do have like you look down upon them, and that's think about this, people believe they live on a spinning ball flying through a vacuum, that the space shuttle's real, that all of this stuff, they're lost souls. They're just so lost. And I'm not saying that they're right in looking down upon us, but I can understand it.
I thought there was like only a few declarations of national emergency. Whatever this list is like ridiculous.
It's like all the
What
time.
the hell is going on?
What's this week's one? Where?
Yeah, this one right here shows Trump on March 13th. That's today, yeah. Trump declared the coronavirus pandemic a national emergency. It releases some, I don't know, $25 billion for them to use or something. I don't know. As if
it's
they
a
can't,
state of
they can just
emergency here
print
in
more
North
money.
Carolina, I found out.
Yeah, here in California too, and I know I don't know about the city I live in, but the city next to me called Atwater has declared a state of emergency, even though there's nobody here.
Well, Scarsdale, New York has the highest concentration of corona patients, and I live right near there, so I win.
You win, yes. I thought it was Clinton and SARS. Now that you mention that, but I don't see it on here, so I don't even think this one's a correct list. I think my knowledge is better than this Wikipedia list. No, probably not.
Well, welcome to 2020, where we declare national emergencies over a cold.
Get a couple sniffles?
Fake
Come
cold.
on.
It's totally crazy. Hey, UAP's here, Jaron.
UAP, what's up? Nope.
He's on mute.
Oh, hey there.
There he is. What's up? How are you?
Hey. Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
I heard you showed your
Despite
face
everything.
the other day.
Yeah, I did.
And then he lost 1,000 subscribers.
I know. I know. It was devastating. The comments were just so. No, just kidding. Yeah. I thought maybe I'll give a little bit more credibility.
Whoa.
Give a little bit more credibility to the movement.
I don't know if this is true, but it says the claim
Try
is
to.
that every election year has the disease. SARS in 2004, avian flu 2008, swine flu 2010, MERS 2012, Ebola 2014, and 2018, Zika 2016. I don't know. Seems about right. I read off a list the other day that was just ridiculous.
I wonder how far back it goes, their plan, right? How far back they have this program.
Well, they had that video in 2014 I came across. I don't know if you guys saw it. 2014 out of China. I just happened across a video with 400 views.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from a medical school done by the medical students in, it wasn't China. It was in Asia somewhere, but don't remember the country. But it was one of those south of China. And they had, the students had a cartoon that depicted, it was the coronavirus. And it had the people freaking out over it. But it was like, well, it's nothing. But that showed a massive overreaction and panic, and that it was basically nothing. Like the cartoons, their heads were falling off when they heard the mention of corona. And so that was 2014. And they knew, somebody there knew about it, because really we didn't hear too much about it at all before recently, right? So. I thought it was interesting. Like it was somehow they knew it would crop up in the future.
Right, I got tagged in a post, and it says, and just like that, the government controls all sporting events, concerts, jobs, colleges, medical facilities, whether or not you can leave the house, has depleted resources such as toilet paper and food, controls all travel, and you guys wonder why they develop and use viruses to scare the public. They now control you and everything about your life. See how easy it was? Mass panic, hysteria, complete control. Of literally the world for a virus.
Yeah, the video, I made a video. I was going to drop it, but I didn't do it in time before this show started, so I'll do it after. But my biggest take on this thing is it's a great opportunity for us to see what the Matrix is. Because if they can control it to shut it down by just this coordinated, pre-planned thing.
How flimsy the whole system is.
Yeah, well, they're telling, it's like telling you who's in the club or who's in the group. It's telling you what isn't really good for you, as far as I'm concerned. If something jumps, or if it says jump and they say how high, right away, like the NBA, like the schools that are closing, etc., then that is so much a part of this evil, intelligence or whatever it is that guides that stuff. Obviously it's going to affect vaccines, the medical industry. Those are the things you have to be careful about. I think it's a great opportunity to learn that for a lot of people.
The only problem with my whole prediction about what will happen and me saying it's going to go away and that they'll save it for a later time is I get to this point, I'm like, well, why would they be saving it till another time if they can do it now? They've proven to themselves, they've proven to me that they can do it now. That people are so worried over nothing that this is a great moment for them. So I wonder, the whole idea of, okay, well, now it's going to be tailed back, and because look at it, cold and flu season goes away in the coming month or two, right?
My best case scenario for this is that over time, after the panic settles, I mean, I'm not sure that's possible, but it's like kind of a little bit of utopian positive idea that people, because I've seen this in someone I know, that they start thinking twice when they see that they're losing business, all this stuff is happening. They're like, what the hell's going on? And when they see it's really nothing to worry about, and if it gets debunked in more detail, how do you test the virus? What is it exactly? What it does? Where are the cases and everything? If people try to do, a documentary after it comes out that the whole thing is fake, it really, whatever
I just don't
that the
think
media
people will
has
see
is
it
going
that
to go away. Sorry?
I just don't know if I see it that way. I think that people are so afraid that when this goes away and their fear is lifted, they'll have to thank someone, and they're going to thank Daddy
No,
government.
I agree that that's the plan. But
advertising, financial help for people affected by the coronavirus.
I've seen that.
Trump said it. Trump said it himself in his speech.
But they always do that. They always create the problem. Well, there's always a problem that's created, and then, oh, here comes the government. We're going to help you.
Which is impossible to get anyway. Who's getting these loans?
Definitely...
I don't know anybody that gets these loans and small business loans, and that's the worst thing for you.
How do you worst thing?
How are you going to pay that back?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if
you're going to get tied up.
If you're a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in Oakland right now, and you're getting absolutely no business, a loan is only going to put you into debt. It's only going to be bad for you. If you hopefully saved up enough money that you can survive this, and then come back in a couple months and start your business up again. But getting a loan is not going to help you.
Well, I don't think they mean loans. I think they're talking about like
assistance or like.
No, he did say loans as well.
Grants?
There's both.
Is there both? Okay.
Yeah. I think I thought that the total was like 50 or 70 billion, like at the end of his speech when I was just watching, but I wasn't really paying so much attention. But what I said is general. What my point was is that after the whole thing is through, and what you're saying is, I agree that that's part of the plan. More people may wake up because you look back and say, hey, this is obviously an overreaction. Look at the massive overreaction over this. And that may help, in this, people wake up like a shot in the foot, like they do it all the time. Like the space car from Tesla.
Right.
Something like, because we're all calling it out right away.
Yeah, and I think for us, that's fine. And I think this goes with everything, with Flat Earth, with anything you want to call it, that they already know there's a certain percentage of people that are onto it, right? They already know that. They don't care. They understand that we know what's going on here, but they don't care about that. What I'm saying is that as far as if this goes away, it's not going to be that people look back and say, oh, this was all hyped up for no reason. People are going to look back and say, oh, this was hyped up for good reason. And because they hyped it up and because they talked about it and because we got out there and closed schools and stopped flights, that's why this was taken care of.
Right. Yeah, but that's really bad.
It's really bad. No, that's really bad. But this is like it's a celebration for them, right? No matter what, this is what happens when you're able to control people. Is that you're able to manufacture situations and then know the outcome ahead of time. There's no better way for a gambler to win money, for somebody who's trying to control you. If anybody can cause an event, predict your reaction correctly, then they have one over on you forever.
Have they taken it far enough where they can, get their end game plan in, or do they need to pull back, let everyone, become the heroes.
Right.
And then next time in a year, end of the year, next year, 5 years, whatever, they come back. They're like, this one's coming back and it's stronger than last time. We need to take more drastic measures. And then they really have full control.
You're right, Dave. That's what I
many
think is the
options
case.
now, right? And also, but David, didn't you mention that the guns and the ammunition were just being sold out?
Unreal. The biggest gun store in Connecticut that has 20 aisles of ammunition was wiped out.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Get your guns ready.
I heard them. They do try it. Yeah.
My belief on that is with the school shootings, especially the one in Connecticut, where everyone's saying they're doing it to take the guns away. So many truthers were saying that, and I'm like, I don't know, because gun sales went through the roof after that. And every time there's any threat of anything, people just buy more and more guns.
That's crazy.
Now, Dave, these are all real. You know that.
What?
These pictures.
Those? Oh, can I show my? Can I show
is
my?
that the coronavirus? Is that it?
Yeah,
itself?
it's absolutely mutating. You can see it between pictures.
Look at this.
Didn't they say it somewhere in Canada? They finally have found it. They've been able to.
No, I don't think so, because nobody never isolate the virus. No, there is no virus ever isolated.
Well, yeah,
There's
I'm
no
certainly not claiming they actually found.
Look
it.
how it's the same as like their pictures of Earth with the curvature of the Earth here.
No,
This is like in Mars. Look at they do them on all of them. What is going on here?
They're actually quite colorful. They're beautiful designs.
Like koosh balls.
Like koosh balls.
If you put,
this one
if
looks
you
real.
put something that it's very curious in terms of the symbology, if you put in the Google search, you type 1919 Major Arcana.
Can you share your screen and do that?
I wanted to sorry for my English. I think you understand now my English, but there you go. If you type that,
no, I meant share your
nobody
screen.
understands it.
Okay.
I know that, man. I know
19
that. I need to live with that all my days.
If half the people understood half of what Iru said, the flat Earth would be blown out of the water already. The whole world would know.
That's true.
Okay, but the number 19 in the tarot is the sun. Just for symbolism, because when you're talking about the corona, you are talking about crown. So it's the crown of the sun, it's the corona of the sun. All the time, these guys are, putting out there their symbolism. And I just want to remind this, because remember the cover of The Economist 2018, I believe was, that where they put all the tarot cards in the cover of the magazine.
Yeah.
The Economist.
So this is like the
2018.
This is like the 19th card of the
2019.
deck or something.
Yeah, that was from 311 when people were investigating 311 back in November. That was coming out as well, right, Iru? That cover, that was very important.
2017. Yeah, 2017. The Economist put in his cover magazine tarot cards, and the Freemasonry has their own tarot cards. The elite use tarot all the time, and the number 19 especially is the sun. So when you read Corona COVID-19, it's like talking about the crown of the sun. I just want to point it out, nothing more than that, but they are all.
That's interesting.
All
That's
the
a
time
really good card in tarot too. That's a good card.
You know tarot, Karen?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we just saw the cartoon little miniature blowfish virus pictures, so it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, also the crown is the crown chakra, right? It also mentions the top chakra, the one on the top of your head.
Yeah.
Supposedly that the 1,000 petals and so on. So it's there's another the crown virus. It messes up your head. Essentially, is all we imagine.
The crown chakra is also violet, so it's interesting that they have the virus in violet as well.
Oh, this one's got this
with all these
skull
with
in
all
there.
these kind of petals as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's purple and red or something. That's what they're promoting now. And
Well, purple
This is all just
is
nonsense.
the mix between red and blue, right? Which is the colors from that the elite use all the time to refer the sun.
right,
Royalty as well. Yeah.
Right. Red and blue is the political system, and then put them together, it's purple. They're above the political system.
Yeah, and I sent it.
Government.
Sorry, I sent it the 2017 cover from The Economist, and Donald Trump, which is in the top of the world with the card Chapman, has this iconic globalist symbol from the Roman Empire. I forget that, and of course has the color yellow, which referring the sun too, right?
What is this stupid chart? It's so stupid. How's this gonna help anybody? It's like, do I have the cold, the flu, or the corona? I have a little bit of sore throat. Oh, sometimes it's coronavirus. Well, I've got a little bit of aches and pains. Sometimes it's coronavirus.
They're sending people into high schools to teach high schoolers how to wash hands. From the elementary school, the people who sing the songs and they make them go through it. It's a humiliating exercise.
Wow.
Well, they used to. Now the schools are shut now. But that was like one of the last things they did.
Yeah, re-education camps, right? They talk about that.
Bueno, maestro, no, perfecto. Ella hace un vuelo ella vuela de Suiza a Holanda y de Holanda es un vuelo directo a Argentina. Así que,
okay.
Your English is really getting bad, man.
That was terrible. Even I couldn't understand that one.
He was talking to somebody else. He was saying that, talking about the plans of the flight. So.
Oh.
Yeah, look at they know it inside, just like they know the inside of stars. They're millions of light years away. Isn't that amazing?
Well, they also know the inside of atoms, which is possibly the funniest thing ever said by anybody anywhere. It's like, what is an atom? Atom is the smallest thing that there ever could possibly be. But here's what goes on inside the atom. It's like, well, I thought an atom can't be dissected in half. Well, it can't, but we know what's going on inside of it. Sure you do.
Have you guys looked into the electron scanning microscopes and the limitations? It's just like fake space. It's really the same thing.
Right, and they have to put little gold flakes in it to measure the reflection. That's really all they're doing, like when they examine organic material.
Yeah, it ends up being a CGI render, and they admit to it. But they always have this promise, the electron scanning microscopes are expensive and the universities buy them, and then they say that it could lead to curing cancer, all that stuff. But it's like going to Mars, it's always in the future. And
it's coming, it's eventually coming, it's right around the corner, 2024, 2026.
You know what? My cousin did medicine at the University of British Columbia for a while, and then she ended up leaving. But she said that the electron microscope that you're talking about, it was kept in a safe. It had to be rolled out of a safe inside the building.
Wow. Yeah. Well, of course, we all know the electron just doesn't exist, so they're never going to find it.
Well, they can't shoot it as a beam for sure, and then read it somehow, like it's like firing a squirt gun and you're scanning and somehow you can get an image out of it that's in 3D. And mind you, it has focus too. You know how they have like that artificial focus. The viruses closer to you might be, if they're too close, they're out of focus. I love it. And each picture is different. And when this is weird. I know you guys have experienced this too. You're talking to family and you talk to them and you say, those images aren't real. That's not a real picture of the coronavirus.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? Somebody just made it up? So it's just a drawing? And they get so upset.
Yeah. And then I ask questions like, well, how do they test for it? Like, what is this test? How does this test work? And I'm seriously asking because one of them, her daughter's a surgeon, a doctor, a medical doctor, surgeon, and they don't know. They just make stuff up on the spot. I mean, it seems to me like, well, I know they're making it up on the spot because what they're saying it changes, and I've already looked into it, and I know that's not true. And I'm waiting. I'm seriously like because sometimes I do think maybe I'm missing something,
I think the same thing all the time.
There's this key piece of information I'm missing.
I still have the same questions about the test, and I mean, if you develop a test for a certain something, I mean, couldn't you come up with a test that would show that 1% of people have something? whatever it is. I mean, you could I'm sure you can orchestrate a test for that. I'm sure they've got that down pat. And it's just funny to me that Trump won't take the test, and it's because I think he knows what we all know is like if I went and took the test, they'd probably tell me I have it.
Exactly.
I'd be like, I don't have any symptoms. Why would I have it? Oh no, you do have it. We need to quarantine you. Now we're going to put your number on the list. Yeah, so now I'm going to be on that list. And all of a sudden, somebody who doesn't have any symptoms, somebody who's not even sick, is just told you are sick and you are going to transmit this and you need to self-quarantine. And then you go home. You're forced to stay in your house for 14 days. You get out of your house 14 days later. They test you and tell you you're fine. And then you think that, oh, it was because I self-quarantined. It was because I tested. I wouldn't have known I had it. I would have transmitted it to old people. I would have killed my grandparents.
You know another thing that's with those tests? It's getting your DNA.
Yeah, of course.
Like they're doing with 23andMe and all that. They want to catalog everyone's DNA.
Mine's already in the system when I had to take a paternity test for my son, so I'm already out. I'm already in the system. I already can't commit crimes now.
Dude, I think that's one of the funniest parts is that Trump refuses to take the test. That's hysterical to me.
It's hilarious. The guy's funny. I'll give him
He
anything.
is,
He's
dude.
funny. He is funny. He goes from calling it a hoax, and it's just so funny. And it's just like everybody else. You have to backtrack. The news, the media will not let you get away with anything. And this is such a manufactured thing that no matter what happened, they could have demonized Trump for it. No matter what. Doesn't matter. If he takes the test, then they'll say he's positive for it, and then they can say, "Oh, he's positive," And if he doesn't take it, well, then, "Oh, he's not looking out for the health of others and the people." It's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's just ridiculous.
The test, to me, it's the least scientific. The virus, the whole thing is there's nothing about it scientific. It's not observable. It's not. The test isn't repeatable, and it's not reproducible. Those temperature gun things are not repeatable or reproducible at all.
Those are those are like $3.99 on Amazon. You can get one and point them at your neighbor's head to be like, "Nope, you're 101. You're out of here."
Yeah.
Quarantine 14
came up
days.
With an idea for them, like a Corona version of it that you pull the trigger, and if the number doesn't reach a fever, it does a green light and it says you are free to go.
Right.
And then if it passes that threshold, it just fires a bullet, and solves the problem right then.
But Dave, you said when you came back from your vacation, they did not do your temperature?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. I didn't know
15 people with masks on the plane. They in total panic the whole way, and everything else was fine.
Yeah, I know from years ago that from professors who studied communities in Africa that were attacked by AIDS, whatever you call it, that when they came around and talked about the AIDS testing, the conclusion is the same. There's so many false positives that you're better off not taking it.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It's same thing with AIDS
and
and
if you
everything else,
if you
many
test
false
positive,
positives.
you take it again. There's a 99.9 something % chance that you will not test positive again.
Right.
Jeez.
That's it was part of the whole. And AZT, I don't know if you guys looked into that. Oh my goodness, that was the part of the whole. That was their solution to the problem they created, right? And that one, it was basically a poison.
That was AIDS. That's what it was. AZT.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And I did look up to see Jericho calling it mass hysteria when they asked him if his band was going to keep playing. It was great.
I'd take full credit for that.
You got to take half credit. Russian vids.
I'll take half credit. That's fine. I'll take it.
Russian vids gets half credit. Come on. Don't go crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Did you see the SpaceX blow up? I'm sure you
No,
did.
another one?
Hilarious.
Yeah, they had one the other day. This one here.
Oh, there was like a balloon? Let me guess. Oh, that one. Yeah, that was. Look at it.
What?
As soon as it starts.
Does it have water inside or air? Is it made of air?
Helium. Come on.
Come
See,
on.
there it goes. It's like a Mylar balloon blow up.
What the heck?
It's
like
so funny, dude.
Holy shit. It's just unbelievable.
It had a reversed fill valve. That's what it looks like to me. They pulled a vacuum on it.
What I understand is it was just a test, so it wasn't supposed to go anywhere, right? I mean, it's not like supposed to launch. I don't know, or anything. I don't know.
Just wanted to explode it.
Test.
Yeah, exactly.
So it failed, right?
Yeah, that's
Obviously.
a fail. It wasn't by design. And then, of course, Musk with his funny tweet says, "It's fine. We'll just buff it out. Where's flex tape when you need it?" So
Yeah, he's trolling. He's trolling us, dude.
Absolutely.
Did they know it would explode? That's the question. I think they just knew. Like, do they know that it's gonna explode before they start it, or is it actually an accident?
I don't think Elon Musk knows shit. I think that guy's
It's just a
dumb as a
storyline. Every day
doornail.
they need to do a little thing, and they have it all laid out. And this is the day for this and that, and let's show this. And
how little
they
he
get
knows
it's
is
a ride in Disney, right? Sorry.
yeah, he knows so little because Elon Musk, even when they asked him, like, well, wait a second, how are you going to have shielding from your people who travel in your craft and this and that? His answer was, well, because people went to the moon and they were fine. That's
right.
not a good. That's not a good measure. I hate to tell you, Elon. Oh boy,
Yeah.
you hope you're not counting on that. That's why none of this stuff will ever go anywhere. Is because they're all basing it off of what they think happened in the past or what they think can happen, and they're just all going to be wrong. So what happens? You have to keep pushing it out, keep having failures, and nothing will ever come of it. And you're right, Dave. Didn't he go from saying, "I'm going to make 170,000," or what is it? I got to find that article now. I keep talking about things I don't know. what I'm talking about.
1,000 ships. So one every 72 hours. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that story. I have to find it here. I thought I had
1,000
it
Wow.
ships a
listed
month.
here.
Is that it? To send everyone to Mars? You're gonna get your Mars driver's license or something.
What are
Something
the
like that?
factory
Wow.
recalls going to be like when the ships are halfway there? There's a whole train of them, like 60 of them have launched, and they're like, "Oh, we got a part that doesn't work. Recall."
Elon Musk wants to build a new starship every 72 hours so he can colonize Mars.
Well, how
Oh,
convenient
boy.
this was just, I don't know, written down in a science fiction book.
Oh, about Elon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything. Arthur C. Clarke with the satellites,
stupid.
Elon with Mars.
Yeah, and that's by Werner von Braun, by the way, the Elon one.
Yeah.
Is that programming us to accept it, or is that like wizardry to create it?
I think it's
That's the
wizardry
question.
to make us believe it.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
question I always ask you, Dave, because I get
Which in turn creates it.
Yeah.
in the mines. Creates in the
That's
mines for
crazy.
sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, the mind's an organ. Like in the Vedas, the mind is part of like touch and hearing and sight. The mind is just as, if it's where Maya operates, and that's illusion, and that's what these kind of atheist controllers want to control, right? The symbolism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Wasn't
mind
it-
is
I
just
looked at it this way as a long game. If they had their way with everything, that people would all climb into these boxes where they have a virtual reality, and then generations later crawl out of it back in the Earth, which is now called Mars, and they look up at this orange light in the sky that is said to
Wow.
be blue instead of red, and that is Mars. Yeah, or I mean, that's Earth. You live on Mars. That's Earth up in the sky. The orange light's actually blue. Like
Well, isn't his great grandfather was arrested for technocracy, and then he was found guilty, but then he appealed it and it was overturned. So I look at it like he was known from the beginning. He got his name to fulfill this agenda. Like it
I
wasn't
mean,
like
Elon.
yeah.
yeah.
What's his backstory? Do you know more?
Well, yeah. Well, it's somewhat conspiratorial, like supposedly his mom had some relationship with Charles Manson and there were some occultic ties, but his great-grandfather was arrested for technocracy and then found guilty but appealed it and it was overturned. And then, the story is, of course, that he was born and given the name known to fulfill the science fiction agenda. Some people will say that he was chosen after the fact. But I don't go that route. If you look into, he has a lot of occultic elite ties to his family, and so it seems like
His
he
mom
was just
looks
chosen.
like
This is
she-
his role.
His
you know?
mom looks like
His
she eats
actual name
babies.
is Elon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's what we're told. But his mom looks like she eats babies or drinks blood. One or the
Dude.
other.
Dude, it's creepy if you look into Elon Musk's family, man.
And then he supposedly started PayPal and got out right at the time that he got all these billions of dollars. And what is this stupid story? It says Musk is bulking up his rocket building force. It is home. Visited the Texas home of SpaceX, where Musk was calling a meeting on a Sunday morning at 1 a.m. That's just stupid. Who's going to call a meeting at 1 a.m.? And it says after the 1 a.m. meeting, SpaceX added over 250 new employees in 2 days, representing a full doubling of the workforce. You're telling me SpaceX only has 250 employees?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And NASA has 40,000 or 60,000 or something. I don't know. Stupid.
That's why he doesn't need this as big of a budget.
Right. That's why he's able to reuse rockets and land them so easily.
Are you telling me all of them could lie?
Oh, boy. Or none of them are
Too
lying.
many.
Again, it's worrying, though, because SpaceX is designing its factory here to build a Starship every 72 hours. It means its facility in Texas has to include huge windbreaks. Think of enormous sky-powered protective nets at some driving ranges, but solid, in order to put this stupid.
View breaks.
I think we need probably on the order of 1,000 ships, and each of those ships would have a payload, would have more payload than the Saturn V and be reusable. This guy is bonkers. Oh, I was just saying that. I didn't even read that. It's stupid.
NASA's rocket factory in Michoud, what is it, Louisiana or New Orleans? Or I mean, Louisiana or Mississippi, whatever. That has a production goal of 1 fake rocket per year, and they've built, as far as I know, 0. So it's a factory. It's one of the most expensive factories in the world, and its goal that it isn't meeting is 1 fake rocket per year, and they only build 20% of it. Outside contractors build 80% of it, and then Musk is going to build one every couple days. Wow,
And then
one every 3 days.
Imagine being able to come out with this story right after. It's so funny. I mean, you go from one thing that we just read, how many he's going to create. He's going to create 72 so we can get to Mars. And it says Elon Musk fears he will die before SpaceX makes it to Mars. Which one are you doing? Which one is going on? May not be possible in his lifetime, the SpaceX box has warned. When he just said that it would be done in the 2030s. Is he planning on dying within the next 10 years?
He wants to die on Mars. That's what he said.
Oh, boy.
Is that what he said?
He said that, yeah, when he was over in the
that.
Middle East at some summit, and they're all sitting there in Saudi Arabia, and he said, I hope someday to die on Mars. And then everybody's like, what the fuck? What?
And look what he's saying here. The thing that concerns me most right now, that unless we improve our rate of innovation, okay, there is no chance of a base on the moon. When they've already been there 50 years ago. Easily. They played golf. How hard would it be to go? And the thing that concerns me is unless we improve our rate of innovation, what do you mean? How is space the only thing that's gone backwards for 50 years? And not just backwards, but drastically backwards. It's not like it's stalled. It's like it's disappeared.
A bigger set, like a massive set that covers a
Space
whole
is
island
hard.
somewhere.
Space is hard.
That might be what they're building. It's underground. You can get, some parts underground. There's sets. It takes years to build the sets. The much money they have,
If we don't improve our pace of progress, I'm definitely going to be dead before we go to Mars. If it's taken us 18 years just to get ready to do the first people to orbit, we've got to improve our rate of innovation, or based on past trends, I'm definitely going to be dead before Mars. Well, I hate to disagree with you, but I actually agree with you. You are going to be dead before we go to Mars.
There's no doubt you're going to be dead before you go to Mars, Elon.
And everybody listening and everybody living. It's all very true. Oh, boy. What did you say, Dave? You were going to say something? Oh, here you go. This is exactly what, who just said this. Yeah, the 48-year-old tech billionaire has previously spoken on his hope to visit the Red Planet. I want to die on Mars, just not on impact.
Yeah.
Human beings want to go to Mars and die.
Why?
Apparently.
They're so stupid.
It's evolution. It's Darwinian evolution. That's what you want. It's your genes. They want to go to another planet.
The gene of exploration is in us.
Yeah, they say that. They say
so
that.
Stupid. It's like I said, I don't hear people trying to construct a way to live inside volcanoes, right? Because volcanoes are not hospitable to living inside of. So
it's exoplanet.
Wait a
minute. Dave's about to call bullshit.
That.
Dave, let's go find a volcano and see if you can go construct a little home in there.
If you talk to Joey Rocha, there are no such thing as volcanoes, and I heard they're very hospitable inside.
That might be true. I can't, this is the one where I say I have to stand back and say maybe you're right.
Well, wouldn't it be more efficient to just adopt Mormonism and get your own planet?
Can't rule it out.
When is Binu coming back?
Bilu.
No.
I'd rather have my own planet than go with Elon and die.
In a pod?
Some sources are saying that Bilu, take the coronavirus, so maybe he never gonna come back again.
Bilu's got the coronavirus.
Yeah, man.
I heard Bilu brought the coronavirus.
Sad news. No, that are bad news.
Oh, that's
no,
bad.
That's
fake news?
That's not true.
Fake news. All right.
Fake news. Bilu is a nice guy. It's a nice alien.
Bilu and Elon. That would be a nice program. Bilu and Elon down here to Mars.
Trust us. Believe us.
Believe us.
Changing topics a little. Did you guys see my post this morning about the ice wall, the Antarctic basin?
You showed it. Should I bring it up? Do you want to read it to us?
Yeah, bring it up because I want to bring it up for people that when they're asked, where's the edge, and they say, well, the ice wall. And when you say the ice wall, everyone's been programmed with Game of Thrones to the ice wall, and it doesn't really help a newbie understand what flat Earth is. Want me to pop it? You have the image? Or?
I don't remember which chat you put it in, but
Hold on,
I got it
right in here.
I got it.
That one.
I'm up.
Yeah.
There you go.
So basically, I kind of just spelled it out how Antarctica is the highest land on Earth, and it's the basin of the world's oceans. And I just kind of explained it out, and just that image, which I found and doctored a little bit, gives a much better idea than showing a disc. Because you show a disc, it's to a new person, it's a disc in space. Mm-hmm. And you say the ice wall, it's Game of Thrones with infinite space beyond it.
Right. They can't take this picture and throw it in space. It looks stupid.
Yeah. And nobody can fall off of this. And nobody, and you explain how we live within that pink circle and no one's allowed to explore outside of that. So.
And I think you just need some tall mountains with some extremely coldness around here.
You want to read? You want to read it? Read it.
Go ahead. You've already started it.
So, did you know that Antarctica is the highest land in the known world? ? What happens when you have a low spot in the ground and fill it with water? You get what's called a puddle. If that low spot is a few miles wide, you would get what you call a lake or a pond. Now imagine a low spot and a low spot in a landmass that is thousands of miles across, and within that spot I lost my space. There are some other high land masses. You now have what you could call the world ocean. Water doesn't stick to the outside of a spinning ball. It does, however, sit quite well in a basin. So you need to ask yourself, with all of that's going on in this world, why is the Antarctic Treaty the only treaty that has never been broken since it was enacted in 1958? Is that the right date?
I believe.
Nobody is allowed to independently explore Antarctica, and if you are wondering how the United Nations of the Antarctic Treaty could possibly enforce it, and stop someone from finding the truth, look no farther than this 30-minute video, and then it's Taboo's Sorry Antarctica is Closed.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I kind of spread that around. A lot of people like it. I even gave it to Mark Sargent. Said, hey, get rid of the disc.
Stop carrying that around with you.
Stop carrying the disc. I'll mount it on foam core for you and send it to you. This thing.
Is this about the 60-degree marker, Dave?
What's that?
Is this about the 60-degree marker?
Yeah, well, I just winged it. That's the 60-degree, no one's allowed to go beyond that. No fuel beyond that.
Right, you can't have extra fuel. So let's pretend this is the 60-degree, although I think it might be a little bit higher. But, once you get down here, you can only go to the ice and go back where you came from. It's all you're legally allowed to do because you can't have extra fuel. So you can't go down here and come along this ice wall and hang around here because before you know it, you're going to be out of fuel, and now you're stuck out here and there's nowhere to fucking go. So... Right. It's absolutely stopping you from any. And then if you look at the guy who went down there and got his boat blown up and got put in jail for it.
But how about this? Even if they let you, and you went on December 21st when the sun is as far out as it possibly gets, how far are you going to get across that ice plain before you run out of food, fuel, light?
No, well, that's for true when you're going this way.
Yeah.
But as far as the traveling, I mean, if you were allowed to go down there with extra fuel, you could take a boat, get as close to this ice wall as you could, and just start going around. And all of a sudden, you're going to realize that you're going many, 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 many more miles than 11,000, which is if Antarctica is a continent on the bottom of a globe, you're only going to go 11,000 miles. This thing, you're going to go so many more. Now, what do they do with these boats that go around? They go around. It takes them, 100, 200 days. They get back, and then they tell you that they only went 11,000 miles, and you figure out the speed, and it means that the boat was going 2 knots, which is ridiculous. Then you go look up that boat, and the boat can go 35 knots. So all of a sudden, you realize, wait, that boat can go 17 times more than 11,000 miles. Well, what's 17 times 11? It's no question that they could be easily traveling 60,000 miles.
I heard the boat went 33 knots.
Oh, boy. You heard wrong.
One
thing I wanted to clarify.
And the other
Ca-
guys,
yeah,
there's a bunch
yeah,
of
Cook.
guys.
Can I say something about Cook?
Yeah, sure.
Because I've heard it. I've heard it one way this whole time, and I was doing research on it. And what I found from, I don't know if this is an altered record, but the official record of at least one of Cook's journeys, I think both of them that I looked at, the number of miles or knots, whatever that he traveled, were correct in the high number, but they drew it where he had to go back and he went
up
and
and
he tried
down
to
all
find
over
an
here.
opening and retrace his steps, and it just adds up to that. But he didn't do a circuit because you can't take supplies with you for 4 years, which so it's a little different from how I've heard people say.
He did go around, but he had to go stop in anywhere he could from time to time and try to go. So it was not just trying to go around Antarctica.
Well, yeah, and I don't know how far south he went. I don't know that he went very far south of 60 degrees latitude anyway.
No, I think he did. I found in some of his journals they find, which are later typed, so you have to check. But I was looking at precisely just the latitudes, and I think he crossed 60, went to kind of like 72 maybe, up to that, but not beyond that. And I lived in 60 North for 2 years, and that's there's vegetation and animals and everything. It doesn't even snow.
Yeah,
right. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, that's something that people don't know. Whenever I tell somebody, that really gets them thinking, because it's undeniable that in the Arctic Circle you have 4 million people, you have countless millions of trees, thousands, tens of thousands of different species, even thousands that are indigenous just to the Antarctic Circle and regions. And in the Antarctic Circle, you have none of that except a few species, perhaps. I'm not aware of any trees, and there are no permanent human residents in the Antarctic Circle,
And
no
the
matter
bollocks
what they
say it's
say.
because there's more land in the north and it's more ocean in the south, and it doesn't retain the heat.
Well, that's certainly
yeah.
true if you look at this map.
And it would be counter, yeah. And then also you have the perihelion and aphelion effect that would actually favor the Antarctic in that respect. So there should be more life. There should be trees. There should be all these things that they're not, and it's evident
if we're living on the spinning ball.
If it were a ball.
But when you look at this map, all of a sudden, all the numbers start to make sense. When you say, 95% of the people live in the northern hemisphere, if you want, where does the equator is about right here. So of course, 95% of the population lives here, because there's only this little piece of land here, this one here, and this one here that's south of that. So
and
it makes sense.
And there's a video where somebody's really far north. Have you seen this, where he pans the camera and there's like night on one side, and he pans the camera over and there's day?
Right. Yeah.
I included that in one of my videos, and that anytime I include anything in that, I got it down to like 7 seconds, and
Copyright.
it just wipes out the whole thing. That it's so blocked. I'd love to show that, but I have trouble. I can't do it.
That particular video.
I was looking at a balloon video Dwayne sent to me the other day, Dwayne Kellum, and it was showing a sun, the sun going away, and the balloon was, the camera was spinning around, and you can just see how the sun throws like a dome of light that only goes so far. Whether it's fluorescing the gases or just whatever it's doing, it only goes so far. And then when the camera would look to the left, it's pitch black over there. Yeah. And it's clear that the sun is still on the plane. It's just so clear.
It's
so
the
clear,
inverse square law. It's the inverse square law right before your eyes.
Before your eyes, yeah. And it's you're talking about those late night balloons that I think it has one that I think it sent up like 4 a.m. or something, so you see the sun coming in. Is that what you're talking about? See the night turning to day, right? And the sun.
That's what you're talking about. That's what Dave was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Dwayne has a number of those, right?
Just real quick, that image for people that want it, it's on the Flat Earth Podcast Facebook page. It's the top post. I'll put a link in the chat. If you want to grab it, save it to your computer, use it. When someone says, what do you mean here at this flat? Send them that picture, and it's a great conversation starter.
Did you guys hear the coronavirus has caused a delay in the Mars mission?
Oh yeah. Also in Russia,
Yeah.
Here's your.
Russians postponed their mission. Is that the one you're talking about?
Did
This
you
one
hear
here
that
says
that there was
coronavirus delays.
I forget what state it was. They were quarantining all of these dogs because they were afraid that the dogs were spreading the coronavirus. But then the World Health Organization said that dogs don't spread corona. So who let the dogs out?
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in my video,
I'll be here all week.
Was doing some LARPing for them or some, and I said the coronavirus, the coronavirus, it emerged because of global warming. It emerged out of a polar ice cap and found its way into the eris of an animal in Wuhan province, China, that was in a market where a human being found his way into that same area of the animal and it transferred, but now it can't transfer back to animals, because the doctor on the NBC News said it can't, and they know all about it. It's different from the
end
flu.
The end of my story was, so the World Health Organization let the dogs out. So who let the dogs out?
Who?
Right.
Who?
Wuhan.
I think I got that from JQ. So if it flopped, just talk to him about it.
JQ, how dare you?
Hey, one little app thing. Many people are upset because they bought the app and they don't want to agree to new privacy terms. Well, the privacy terms have not changed. The only thing the app is asking for is your account number in case you need to reinstall the app so they know that you bought it, and your location, which you can turn off if you want to set it yourself. So
it's actually nothing more than any other app.
Yeah, no, it's less. A calculator asks for more. I don't need your microphone. I don't need anything, and it's just the stuff that Apple and Google Play want. So it's nothing. You have your phone. It's listening to everything you're saying. My app is not listening to you.
In the next update, though, you are going to need the microphone so people can say, hello, Dearth, and then ask you questions about Flat Earth, and then you'll answer them. It's going to be kind of like...
That's a great... That's pretty
You'd
good.
be like Alexa.
That's coming next.
That's coming next.
So much work.
Dave,
never get over it.
Hello,
Hey,
Dave.
Dearth.
Tell me about... Dearth, I need to know about circumnavigation. All right, and then you just pick up from there and take it off. That'll be great.
And then the other thing is, for those of you that don't know, if you don't want to do the $1 a month, just go into settings, scroll down to the bottom, and you could pause those little pop-ups for 3 months, for a month at a time. So it takes you 3 seconds to do that, and it's all good. Did I miss anything?
No, I'm just reading this stupid story. What else is new? NASA is set to launch their next rover to Mars, known as Perseverance, on July 17, 2020. We'll see if this comes. This won't happen. This rover will attempt to detect if there is any fossilized evidence of extraterrestrial beings. Oh, boy.
They plant that every time they can.
Fossilized
just
evidence
throwing
of
it out there.
extraterrestrial beings. Like, why wouldn't the rover that's there now be able to check for that? It doesn't make any sense. Why? Because they need more money, more space propaganda. We need to remind you. They need to have another show with a bunch of people sitting in the booths, going crazy with their headphones. Dave, we still got to do that, man. We forgot to do that at the conference this year.
Yeah.
Put a bunch of people
we could do a better
polos.
job than they do.
Yeah, it'd be great. I want to be mission director.
Well, who knows if there'll be a conference this year with the corona.
Oh, boy. You can't have an event with more than 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting is that, of course, people have found in the so-called rover photos from Mars fossils, but they've been doing that for a long time. But they believe it's an actual Mars. They don't understand it's just down in somewhere here on Earth. So
mostly,
and that's probably what they're catering to now. Because there's a whole, everyone who used to follow Richard Hoagland or whatever, was probably looking into this, fossils in Mars and the face on Mars and la la la. So there's a huge crowd out there, the whole alien crowd who, will run with this. Oh yeah, NASA now is going to finally find out, there was really, really, really life on Mars.
Yeah. Oh, it already says that here. Have you seen that? There's already a report here that they say that there was things found on there that are consistent. Here we go. Researchers published a new study that the molecules are consistent with early life on Mars. So stupid.
Consistent with
Consistent. With early, we know how early life on Mars looked like because we have it here in our laboratory, and we can compare to the molecules we found there, and then we can, of course, right?
Right,
That's
because
how
the
you do it.
molecules you found there were found on Earth. So, of course, you're going to find the same things that you find on Earth on your pretend Mars. But the good thing about this upcoming rover is it will carry the first helicopter that will fly on another planet, NASA added. This is the other,
I love that thing. I love it.
and it says NASA's long-term goal is to send a manned mission to Mars in the 2030s. I love how they say this. This is such a funny statement because it's only 2020. So by saying it's in the 2030s, they get themselves 19 years of playing this out, right? I mean, all the way till 2039. And then what will happen in the 2030s? So something will happen. It's actually going to be 2040s, and then they can just push it out another 19 years. And this just goes on and on and on and on and has been going on. And people fall for it. Why? Because they love space. They love them some outer space.
They drink a lot of fluoride.
And they drink too much fluoride.
Yeah, there was a press conference that NASA did with the previous director. It wasn't Bride of Frankenstein, it was the previous one. And he was saying, he was on his way out, I guess, and he said, I know that we say that, in 10, 20 years, we're going to go to Mars, but this time we mean it, I just so believed him, just believe him.
Yeah, the other Bolden you're talking about, Charles Bolden.
Yeah, it was Bolden. He was talking to like astronauts, and they looked like, I'm telling you, these, like Peggy Whitson was there and all them. That was the most disillusioned, despondent group of people I had ever seen.
Google.
And he was saying that they're going to launch astronauts. It was the announcement where he said, we're now going to launch from the United States, as if that mattered, from versus riding the ESA Soyuz. Yeah. Where it dumps down into the wilderness where that lady finds these things. But yeah, and he said, that's good news, and you should be happy. So smile, Oh man, and I just, all the stuff about astronauts, they're always smiling. That one time they were not.
Right.
They weren't.
Right.
It kind of reminded me of Trump's speech the other day. He looked just like those astronauts at the press conference. Did you guys notice that? He was almost crying.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Maybe he was upside down.
Maybe.
A major NASA facility issued a mandatory order for employees to work from home after one person tested positive for the coronavirus. I thought there's not enough tests, but now there's tests for every NASA employee. Give me a break.
And you see, there you have your 11.3 right there.
There you go.
Have they even said what is the test? What is it? Is it a prod or a poke?
The one I saw on the news this morning, they were sticking a thermometer in some people's mouths. That was it. And then, dumping that thermometer in a glass little tester tube, sealing it in a bag, and, I don't know, sending it off or something. But they were stopping
like a
people.
puff of smoke that says Corona or something, or
No, I think they have to send it in. I don't even think the test comes back right away. I think they said it takes hours, which is just even funnier. What are their tests? I can't.
That's after they run your dossier.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's this guy? Oh, it's Jaron. He's been talking shit about the coronavirus. Guess what, Jaron?
He's
You
sick.
have the coronavirus. You will be self-quarantined in your house for 14 days. You're not allowed to come out. And then guess what? I'll come out in 14 days, and I'll be fine. And everyone will say, well, see, Jaron, if it wasn't for them stopping you on the street, if it wasn't for them testing you, you would have infected many people and even killed elderly people. Look what you... Thank goodness for the government.
Save you from yourself.
We saved you from yourself. You would have done so much damage. You would have killed people. Think of all the events you would have attended. Think of all the produce you would have touched at the store if there was any produce to even get.
What really scared me about this, from what I've heard personally, somebody I know flying overseas got back just before that ban took effect. So thankfully, he's back in the States. But the questions they asked him at immigration control overseas were so invasive and detailed. It was ridiculous. Like they wanted to know the phone numbers of who he was seeing and all that stuff. Everything.
Scary.
Wow.
So they could track you down and everybody you came into contact with, ostensibly because of this thing that doesn't, and that's the type of thing that people should just resist. No, Forget it.
I'll make
Send
something
me back
up.
home.
I'll make something up. If somebody comes to me and says, like, where's the last place you were because you have coronavirus now, I'm going to say something like, what? A casino. I was at a casino and I played every single slot machine. Good luck researching that one.
Yeah.
Good luck following up with that.
I high-fived everybody everywhere I went.
Everyone. I was just winning and just playing every slot, touching every screen. I touched every doorknob, and I went bowling, and I touched every bowling ball in the bowling alley. Now go research that. Follow up with that.
Yeah. Well, in Italy, they said, the prime minister said, nobody can stand within 3 feet of another human.
What, like by law?
Or 3 months in jail. That's what I saw on the news last night.
Oh,
and
boy.
and I was going to make a video about it because when they said it, they were showing people standing probably a foot apart. So it's like, are those people now going to be rounded up and put in jail? Like, I have no response to it, but I haven't watched the news in so long. I'm having these reactions and seeing things that happen that other people didn't see. If they watch the same thing, it wouldn't strike them, and I don't know why. But yeah, that's what it said. I might still make that video, but it was the NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt yesterday.
Look at this now. They're landing planes because a passenger is coughing. His fellow passenger was coughing and sneezing, and therefore the plane needed to be diverted and landed in Denver Airport.
Dude, I would be pissed.
I would be
Somebody
livid.
sent that to me. They turned it around for a sneeze, I think is what started it. Yeah, just a sneeze.
That's what they say. And then the person just had allergies or something. It's ridiculous. I
Dude,
don't know.
the craziest part of this for me is like all of us calling out this is just the common cold and you're freaking out for no reason. All these people that have been running 0 to 100 with it, like, the coronavirus, this is it. It's all go World War Z. Now that they're actually doing these quarantines and stuff, they're like, told you so. You
right.
know.
That's what I mean. And then if it's just ridiculous. It's one of those, you can't win situations. You can't win here. I guess the only way to win is to, throw your hands up and say like, oh, it's an emergency. It's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. And then when it cures, you can say, oh, thank goodness for all the government action. That's the only way that you'll be correct here. Because anyway else, this is going to go away. And then they're going to be able to say, those same people like you're talking about, Austin, are going to be able to say, we'll see it's because of all the actions taken by governments and shutting things down and no public gatherings and no sporting events. And all of sports have been, Austin, are you a sports fan?
Kind of. I'm trying to break out of the blue pill.
Yeah,
I like
it's a tough one.
Personally.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. I've been a sports fan for a long time. I've gotten away from it certainly more than I used to be, but it's still funny to me. People don't realize how big that is to like cancel the NCAA basketball tournament.
Right, March Madness.
Cancel all of spring training, to delay the MLB start of the season, to shut down NBA. There's so much money lost in all that. There's so much money. The NCAA tournament, I can't imagine how much money that thing rakes in.
Yeah, no, exactly. March Madness, I used to be obsessed with March Madness when I was younger.
Oh, you fill out the brackets and everything. Yeah.
The Q storyline of emptying the schools, emptying the sports arenas, and so they can't derail the news with a mass shooting.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
I do too, dude.
I kind of like it. Don't know if it's true, but it's like, okay, if that's true, that's amazing. Do you guys make predictions on what you think is going to happen yet?
No, go ahead. What's yours? We kind of did, but again, mine doesn't make much sense.
Mine is that they will pull the plug on this within 3 weeks. I could be totally wrong.
Right.
And some other nonsense in the news will take over, and spring will come, and the summer will roll by, and who knows what'll happen after that. But I put the over under at 3 weeks. I'm taking the under.
But then the great backlash from that will be, or not backlash, I guess the great response for that will be, thank goodness for government. Right. Thank goodness for all the shutting down.
We stopped it from spreading by
Right.
quarantining everybody. All of the companies that put out these announcements, every company I've ever done business with is sending announcements out. I was just at a client today, and they literally have a skeleton staff, and they got, when I came in the front door, the secretary is like, "Who are you? Get out of here!" I'm like, "I have an appointment." And
then it can be all the sports agencies or all the sports leagues will be thanked. Thank you, NBA. Thank you, Major League Baseball. Thank you, Major League Soccer. Thank you, NCAA tournament. Because if it wasn't for you, we all would have died. If it wasn't for you making timely steps and shutting this down, we would have all ceased. Even though it's 1% of those infected, and that's an extremely low number right now. It's like you said, Austin. There's so many more people dying from so many other things. I don't know if his numbers were right, but is it true? I think was it Owen who was saying that you have a 1% chance of dying this year anyway? So you have a more chance of
statistics. Statistics. There's a chance. There's over 100 deaths of coconut falls every year.
Right.
I mean, 1 in 100 people has to die. 1 out of every 100. If you have a 1% chance.
I don't know.
So either way, it's nut cases that die from it.
I mean, if you look at the number of people that have died from correctly taking prescription drugs from the time you started the show to now is probably 100 times more than the number of corona cases.
Yeah, well, medical errors is 250,000 deaths a year, and
that we know of.
Yeah,
we know it's gagged. It's all.
But those are the people that die from correctly taking the medication, and that doesn't count chemotherapy, because if you die from chemotherapy, they say you died of cancer.
Right. Of course, that's out of the question there. Yeah, and they have, like, I think in the United States over 50,000 suicides a year, and the common flu is also 50,000. Common influenza kills 50,000 in the United States every year.
Is Karen still here?
Karen, are you still here?
I am. Yes, I am still here.
Do we want to play that recording you have just to freak everybody out?
That's up to you guys. It's in the chat.
Did anyone else listen to it?
I didn't listen to it. Who is it from? What is it?
Who is it from? Right, I forgot already.
It's just something that's going around. People are passing around in Facebook Messenger. It's just a recording of somebody saying that they know somebody from, the Pentagon.
Right, don't play it. And what's happening?
It's fear. It's fear-based, right? It's despair-based.
It is.
All right, summarize.
Yeah.
It's basically talking about how they were going to shut everything down for 4 weeks. That's what I was saying earlier. But in some places, that is already happening. I mean,
right. So it's already kind of
it's kind of close to already being done.
But what is their reason for what is the point of shutting things down for 4 weeks? What's that going to do?
Well, they profit from it, right?
Yeah, well, the idea, the audio, I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same one, is that within a week or two, they've already made the decision. They just haven't released it to the public that they're going to release, that everyone has to be quarantined for a month across the entire U.S. So it'll help stop the spread of the thing, and you need to go stock up have at least a month worth of supplies.
Well, good luck on that.
Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy?
I went to Costco the other day just to get our normal stuff, and we went to the back row where they have all the toilet paper, and it's just nothing. Just completely wiped out. All water, all toilet paper, all paper towels, gone.
We haven't
that's
grocery
why you need
shopped.
the drone.
We haven't really grocery shopped since we got home, so we were planning on going out tonight to a nice grocery store, and I'll let you know how that goes.
Good luck, dude. Everyone gets paid on Fridays, so it's going to be a blast.
I know. I was going to go out today, and then I decided, screw it. I'm just going to stay home. I'm good for a little while.
That's how they roll out the drone program,
you
so you don't have to leave your house, and you can still get your groceries with the Amazon drone or whatever it is.
That thing will never happen. It's ridiculous. It's another one of their fairy tale stories.
Your house.
I don't know, Jaron. They just opened up a drone route across Long Island Sound so they can deliver stuff from Connecticut to Long Island.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. What do you mean? So the drone is just going to drop packages off at people's they can't even get to the porch. What is it going to go?
No, I think it's going to go to a drone drop base. So it's for specialty stuff. Like there's an amazing pizzeria in Connecticut, and people in Long Island want those pizzas, so they fly a pizza across.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Come on. What if the birds attack it? No pigeons are gonna attack this pizza on its way.
Seagulls gonna.
Seagulls aren't gonna go after it.
You never know.
Once the seagulls catch on to that trick, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, now we know."
Look, if there's pizzas flying across the sound at nighttime, you know I'm going to be out there rigging my drone with a net to catch those suckers. Look, here comes another one. I hope it's a sausage onion because.
The only one I would throw back is a pineapple. If I catch that one, I'm throwing it back.
Oh, I'd take the pineapple.
Oh man, you are a Jew. That doesn't belong on a pizza.
Whoa!
I take the pineapple, but not with
Is that
ham.
a Jewish thing?
That doesn't belong. I don't know. It doesn't belong on a. It's certainly not an Italian thing. I'll tell you that
Certainly
much.
does.
No, it's an
Certainly.
American thing, guys. The pineapple in the pizza is an American thing.
Oh, it's
You guys invented
disgusting.
it. It's part of this kind of. It's the only place I've ever seen. And I grew up in Brazil with a lot of pizza. My neighborhood, I'm not kidding, has like 50 pizzerias. It's a fad. It's a huge thing in São Paulo. And we're Italian as well. Never seen a pineapple on a pizza I mean, now in Italy you have the Hawaiian as well.
But
that
you
came
like
from
that?
the States.
man.
I used to think it was fine. I mean, it's not my favorite pizza, obviously,
weird.
because I've been to whatever Naples, and then you have a problem because you eat your pizza there, and then but
I'm weird.
it's okay.
I'm weird.
It's okay. It's not like a real pizza from Naples or whatever. But I don't know. Whatever. People
Anyway, I'll throw it
doing everything in these days.
Somebody needs to tell me when these drone deliveries start happening. I haven't seen them happen yet.
It could
I
be
saw a
truth and
demonstration of one in Stanford a year ago.
You what?
They had a drone. They had a drone, and it had this clamp. It grabbed the box, and they were demoing it. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to land on your front porch. I think it's going to go to a neighborhood landing spot, and then there's either a delivery person there, or you come and get it, or whatever.
So what's the difference?
How
from
is
a
that
delivery
cheaper than
truck?
putting it in a delivery truck?
Because it's faster
Oh.
and more fuel efficient, and it's green. Come on.
Oh, it's electric.
Yeah.
We're saving the planet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Plus, you can probably track it in your app.
Who is
It's more
Rodrigo? Was it you who was sending that documents that says that the coronavirus is going to help global warming?
Yeah. They already
that's,
say no.
yeah, that's
it
big
already
news,
is.
Yeah.
People aren't
It's
flying.
a real document.
No. It's European Space Agency's last one of the last videos, second to last videos in the European Space Agency website is just a clip, 40 seconds, showing.
Yeah, because it's going to diminish the
Amount of
amount of
human
carbon
activity.
dioxide.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
It's gonna bring
Yeah,
it
in
down.
Italy they say,
Okay.
look at the impact in Italy is already helping.
Yeah, guys, I've been watching. the
Greta
skies.
Thunberg is very happy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
All right, I had to cough. I've been watching the skies this whole time, and I'm telling you that with the very few flights compared to normal, at least where I am, and there's blue skies. It's kind of like 9/11 in that sense.
I was going to say the same thing. It is beautiful outside today.
Same here.
Yeah.
Puffy white
No trails here.
clouds. Beautiful.
No
It,
trails.
yeah, across the whole country, because like I'm in Ohio, and you guys are in
It's
Like,
because
all
President-
over Connecticut, California.
Because President Trump took down the chemtrails. He did it. He's arresting people right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how he was doing it.
Dave, where can people get these awesome shirts?
You know, I made them as a joke, but people want them, so they're on my Teespring page. But I'll put a link in the chat if anybody wants them.
Austin, what do you think would happen if I went out with a sweatshirt that said "I survived the coronavirus"? If I just went out, would people flip out?
Let me ask you, which shirt is gonna more likely get you a punch in the face? That Corona shirt or the Earth is flat shirt?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
This one-
The corona
Probably-
one's gonna trigger people, man. I tell my
Probably a Sandy
joke
Hook.
all the time about look, man. Next, I'll take one for the team. The next pretty girl that gets coronavirus, I'll make out with her, and we'll see if I die. And people spiral, dude.
I
oh
love that.
God, they're so upset.
The link is actually on the Flat Earth podcast. No, actually, it's not there. I'll put it in the chat. Anyone?
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Free to get it. Yeah.
I would just like
This
to
is
do
not
a
a
social
joke,
experiment.
Austin.
It's not something to joke
Funny
about.
as heck. Come on.
That's great.
Like Karen said at the beginning, if we can't be laughing, then we're just gonna cry. We're just gonna cry
right.
at
You
the
can
state
go
of
We're
this
saving
world.
lives. Come on. We're
Yeah.
saving lives.
I mean, you'll just cry at the fact of how many people are fighting each other over toilet paper at grocery stores. It's a joke.
Yeah, and the toilet paper is not gone when they buy it. They still have it. You just have to convince them to spare a square for you. 3 weeks from now.
Rodrigo, I was
You know,
talking.
everyone, you should be conserving toilet paper. 1 square for number 1 and 2 squares for number 2.
Thank you. Or if you're a guy, I don't know why you're using 1 square for number 1.
Yeah.
That's a little. You got a leak problem.
All right.
Well,
Oops,
I told
gave
you
away
guys
my
that
secret.
the whole toilet paper, the whole toilet paper problem
Hold
could
on.
be totally avoided if you're Italian or Brazilian, because we use bidets.
Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe in France they use it.
So I told my wife
those-
that, though, Rodrigo. I told my wife that, and she said, well, wait a second. After you use a bidet, you don't wipe yourself with tissue after? So you just got drippy butt after?
He's got a big wet ass.
Yeah.
Well, it's no. It's got there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes with it, but yeah, the Italians have perfected the technique. There's ways of you can have different washes and whatnot, but it is.
But you have to
it's
dry
way
it
more
after, right?
hygienic. Huh?
You have
It's
to
like going to the shower, but it's way more hygienic than maybe you can. Okay, you can mix. You can mix techniques. You use a little bit of paper first, then you go and you make sure
Alright.
everything is very, very
All
clean.
right.
I've never in my life used a bidet. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, once you've
Dave, you
I
use one?
grew up with it, but once in Brazil, people grew up with it. But yeah, once you've done it, you don't want to come back to anything else.
Hey, you know how Mark Sargent has the
A
vacuum
bidet?
chamber challenge?
Yes.
I have a challenge. Replicate the space station bathroom on a 0G plane, and offer somebody whatever amount of money to use it during a 0G flight.
Somebody told me, I forgot if it was in an email or some sort of Skype message, what they said, Dave, is that what you don't understand is that the hose that it's attached to your butt is actually straight out to the vacuum of space. So,
Oh my goodness, that would that they have.
Directly. Be careful, man.
so when you
No,
sit there,
that's
it actually just takes care of it all for you. It just flushes it right out into
Die.
space.
That's actually a discussion when people talk about deep sea diving in oil rigs. The guys that have to go and stay over a week in the very bottom, where it's very, very, very high pressures. To depressurize is a whole process, and to take a dump, it's
They just
very,
go in the
very
water.
dangerous if the pressures from there's a whole thing with the pipes. You can find this. I think I sent it David a long time ago, years ago. There's articles on it, but the pressures involved when you pull the flush, if something goes wrong, you can essentially be sucked through it. You will liquefy, it will destroy you, it will kill you, because it's so far down the bottom and the pressures are so strong. So if it were it'd be similar to the vacuum of space, of course. But yeah, that is out there. It's kind of why we know that they're faking it, because of the how the real science of pressure underwater works. So I think at least.
When I was a kid, I thought the toilet on the airplane would suck you out if you got too close to it.
Right.
Well, it sounds like
that
it will.
Kind of suction.
Yeah, I close my ears when I go to the bathroom in the airplane when I flush.
But with the whole toilet paper thing, couldn't you just go buy baby wipes?
Yeah. More expensive.
Austin, you just made a run on baby wipes now.
Uh-oh.
they're
Here people
just going to
go.
be wiped out.
Oh, boy. Is it true that cruise ships dump their shit and piss in the ocean?
You've seen the videos from a decade ago or so where somebody filmed them at nighttime just dumping all the garbage out of the back of the ship.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, when they pull into port, I've been on cruises. You don't see them haul garbage or anything off the ship, so obviously they're dumping it.
Somebody
all.
filmed them taking the
my
big
God.
black garbage bags filled with all sorts of stuff, dumping literally hundreds and hundreds of them into the ocean. And
What the heck? How can they be so sloppy like that?
so do you guys think that the cruise ship industry can recover from this?
If they get some loans from Trump.
Yeah, that's a subsidy.
Bail out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, not poor people who are starving, but them, right? You have to
I
revive
have a
them.
theory. You know, the FEMA camps are going to use the ships as FEMA camps now that nobody will pay to go on them.
Oh my goodness.
I just had to look
That's
it
a
up
good
because
one,
I didn't
right?
know, and it says
It's
it
like the
is true.
Scientology
Unbelievable.
Sea Org. You know that? About that one. That's how Hubbard himself evaded taxes and all kinds of stuff and laws by living on a freaking ship with his slaves. He went around on it, and people signed their souls. They sign a contract for 1 billion years to Scientology to serve them and stuff, and then they go into this thing, Sea Org. It's called Maniac.
And it does say that it is true that all the trash and waste and poop and pee gets thrown into the ocean. Says every last bit of it, but most use common sense and treat it before throwing it overboard. All food waste is churned, diluted with water, and thrown overboard. It becomes fish food. Metal waste, like soda cans, are crushed together to make a big metal puck, which is then thrown into the water, sits at the bottom of the ocean, gradually disintegrating. Plastics are not generally thrown overboard. Bio-waste, your pee and poop, is treated with chemicals, diluted, and then goes into the water, fish food again. Oil waste can also be thrown overboard if the oil concentration is below specific limits. That's ridiculous.
Wow, what the heck?
I guess.
Where are you reading? Are you reading this? You're not seeing it.
Oh, sorry, I'm on a different screen here. I didn't bring it up on your screen. But that's what it says. I don't know.
Wow.
And did we ask the fish if that's what they wanted to eat, or we just assumed that?
We just assumed they're happy.
Yeah,
and then
we assume that, of course.
And then we eat the fish.
I heard
it's all a big cycle of life.
A long time ago that the QE2, which was the big ship, I don't know if the ships are bigger than it now, gets 3 feet to the gallon.
3 feet?
Yeah, that's
to
probably
the gallon of gas?
To the gallon of fuel, it moves 3 feet.
Can we challenge mainstream? Can we challenge mainstream science to drive
everything? Everything.
I want to challenge a
sea
boat.
Glass. Sea glass is real.
Sea glass is real. But I don't challenge really that a cruise could probably go 20 miles per hour. Cruise ship, right? It's probably true. Yep. But it probably can't go 30. There's probably a limit, right? So therefore, we can challenge mainstream to say just put a cruise, start it in New Zealand, and have it go to South America in the amount of time that it would go at 20 miles per hour. They're not going to be. They can't crank that boat up to go all of a sudden 60 miles per hour. It's a freaking cruise ship. I've seen how slow they move. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll challenge them to do that, but we'll never get to do that. Dave,
do they even have those cruises? No, right?
I don't know. No, there's no cruise ships that go from
Australia to South America or
no,
Chile.
They all go up along Philippines, or else they hit each island, on the way, like Easter Island, all the little islands.
Right, but that's Easter Island far away.
I found one, though. It was one of those ship transfers. You know how if you're booking a cruise and you look it down the roster, and every once in a while there's a ship transfer, and they always try to maximize their sales. So they had a ship transfer. So I went through all the ship transfers, and I found one that was from, I don't remember which southern destination to another, but it was one of those, either like South Africa to South America, or Australia to South America. And so I found it, and then I searched anything online about that cruise because I couldn't find any information on it. It happened, in years in the past. But I found an account of a couple who took that transfer cruise. And so I read their blog, and what I found was there were all these excuses of why, the ship lost power, it got rerouted, the captain didn't know why, they were out of position, the equipment check. It was just one thing after another, and they were extremely delayed in arriving. It was like 3 or 4 days later before they were even in the vicinity of the port. It was something else, typical type thing. It was part of my discovery process when I was thinking, there is something to this flat earth. And I was like frantically, well, if then, all those if thens that you go through. Mm-hmm. And then that one I stumbled upon, but I was so early in doing that. I wasn't screenshotting or anything. So I'd have a hard time finding that blog, but it was one of those things like no society or anything put that out there. That was like real deep research. But yeah, it's hard to find any of those.
Well, I've always found it, but every one's like this one. It's like some huge trip. I don't know how long this is. 76 nights to go from, looks like New Zealand or Australia to South America and back. 76 nights if you do Auckland, 84 Sydney, Brisbane 89. Well, Auckland, why would? Auckland would be less than
those
Sydney.
go all the way up north, though, don't they?
Well, I think they all do. They all have to go to all those ports. Now, maybe I don't know. Maybe because they can't carry fuel.
It's
I don't
in
know.
Machu Picchu, so it's going to Peru.
I mean, how far can a ship go
The
before
one
it
I
needs to be
found, it
refueled?
was like a direct, supposed to be, but it took a long time longer.
But that's a lot of time. I mean, 76 nights on a ship. I mean,
Well,
that is insane.
They have ports, so you're going to stop at different places. See, I don't know how much fuel a ship can hold. How far can a ship go without needing to be refueled? I don't know. But
Right.
do they?
No, I'm just thinking. Would you stay for over 2 months on a ship?
I wouldn't. But I don't know.
No,
Some
yeah,
people would,
that's
I
what I'm
guess.
thinking. It's like who'd ever do that? But yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
So it always seems
Yeah,
that
Well,
they,
on these transfer things, you have run of the ship. You know, it's not full like normal, and it's luxurious living, really.
Right.
But
they usually leave
you're in
here,
a stateroom probably.
and then the boat goes up to here. It'll hit the Tonga. It'll hit this place. It'll hit the Cook Islands. It'll go to French Polynesia. It'll hit all these islands. So the amount of time is just huge. Is this Easter Island here? I don't even know.
Not sure.
Yeah, it'll hit here,
it is.
and then it takes its final trip to one of these, and then comes over here to Santiago or something. But
And then coronavirus killed him.
yes, of course. I like how Iris says it better. Coronavirus. I like that.
Virus. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I like
Virus.
Iris.
Virus.
It's like a render engine.
Yeah, it's
Enjoy.
coronavirus.
Enjoy.
Hey, it's better than me speaking Spanish. I'll tell you that much. People would tune out of
for
that
sure.
quickly.
And so many other words that I use, that I
Me too.
invented along the time.
Well, Dave Weiss plays a drinking game when you're on Glowbusters.
Yes, and he get
Jesuit?
drunk
Yeah, he gets real drunk.
because he always won, you know.
Iru, where do
That's-
you live in Argentina? Show me. I don't even know.
A little more down, because that is not Argentina.
Here.
That is Uruguay. Where is it? Buenos Aires.
Here.
There, start making zoom.
Rio de la Plata.
Yeah,
Up-
a
up
little
a little
more up. No, not so much zoom, please.
Okay, let's zoom.
Okay, a little up. There, where it said Buenos Aires.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that not there, but 40 kilometers down.
Here.
40, 60 kilo. The next, yeah, but to go to the river. A little more to the right. La Plata. There you go.
Oh, so you can go to the beach.
There you
How
go.
far is this distance across here?
Well, that is one of our experiments.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
see
Right
from
from the
La Plata to the next country, which is Uruguay. We have 54 kilometers from
Yeah.
the city of Colonia. That city belongs to Uruguay, and you can see all the skyline to Buenos Aires.
And this is the one you
Not
say
to La
they
Plata.
have all the lower buildings, just low buildings here.
Yeah, but you can see from that point to Buenos Aires.
It's the other way around.
Not-
so
not-
what he's saying is that it's
Over
from
here.
the right side, from Uruguay, looking at Buenos Aires up north from where you are, because you're at Plata,
Uh-huh.
and what they can see across the river there, because
Yeah,
that's a river.
That tiny gap from
Right there.
34.5, yeah, for there
Yeah.
to Buenos Aires, you're gonna have like 54 kilometers, and we have pictures and video. It's the same case that you have with Chicago and Michigan,
Gotcha.
but this is a more short because it's 54 kilometers, no 86 kilometers.
And all these buildings
you
are
can
very
see-
low. These are the ones, the highest building is a few hundred feet.
Yes, and nobody, not of those building. There is no any building that's reached the altitude that you need to.
Right.
Be a big curve. They wouldn't even be appearing, right?
Are these nice
Not-
beaches? Are these nice beaches like tropical or no?
No.
No.
That is a river.
cold.
It's not ocean.
This?
That is.
It's a river
that is
coming out.
It's one of the biggest river in the world. It's
Oh, it's
called
part of the ocean, no?
The river of La Plata.
This is
Oh, I
ocean.
heard about that. Isn't there a
Where the
story
people
about sailors
fought?
back in the day?
Yeah.
The guy
Colon,
needed water.
People,
Columbus,
there's a war fought over this, the horrible wars, the Paraguay War, and
Yes.
it's where the silver's coming from, and it's the history of this is it's a horror story. Like,
And there is another history between Uruguay, which was the place where you are pointing with the mouse at the beginning, there where it said Montevideo.
Mm-hmm.
That place, the Freemasons built a lighthouse, and in Buenos Aires, other Freemasons built another lighthouse, and that is 226 kilometers away, one city to the other, and for the the day that the lighthouse starts working, they make this what they call the Bridge of Light, and from those cities you can see the lighthouse.
Wow.
Of course,
From
in
the
our
other
days, in our days, those lighthouses are not anymore on operation.
They're not used anymore.
And exactly. But at the
When was
beginning of the
this?
20th century,
Ah.
at the beginning of the 20th century, and I made a video about that, showing all the math involved and all the histories behind, and in fact they changed Wikipedia, because if you use Wikipedia with a machine, the machine Wayback Machine,
Right.
and you see the articles from 2005, 2006, you can see that in the article of Wikipedia at that time, they say that these two lighthouses connect one of each other through light, and you can see from both cities. But if you go now to that same article, it said the opposite. It said that the curvature of the Earth doesn't allow to see both lighthouses at the same time.
Oh man.
Yeah. They changed it.
And you had it in back in the day when they had it working. You have newspapers talking about how they connected the lights and everything.
Yes. In fact, there was one sport event, really important event, because a guy from Argentina, a boxer, has a fight in United States. I cannot remember exactly the year, maybe 1920s, 1930s, something like that. It was this big fight. So the people in Uruguay, they put money for the Argentinian guy. So one of the way to communicate at that time, because nobody has television and the radio signal are very low in terms of quality, things like that. So the way to communicate via Argentina to Uruguay about who won the fight was via the lighthouse. If the lighthouse has have a red light, the Argentinian guy was lose. And if if the lighthouse was green light, that was because the Argentinian guy was win the fight. Right. So they used that to communicate to Buenos Aires, Montevideo. So there is a few stories about the lighthouse and the bridges.
Is there a film about this?
And if anybody sees the light, the Earth is flat.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
They don't mention that part.
Exactly. Directly.
By the way,
that is why they changed the article. They changed the article in Wikipedia. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. If you want to see the pictures, you need to let me just
sharing screen moment.
Yeah, I can make my screen share moment. Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Nice idea. Okay. Supposedly I'm sharing right now.
Hold on, let me switch over. Maybe not. Okay, yes.
Maybe not. Okay.
I see your screen, yes.
Okay, let me just show you what I mean. I'm trying to find the thing here in the other monitor here. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is like here we have Buenos Aires through Colonia. This is the type of skyline that you can see. Of course, depends of the weather conditions and all that kind of thing. You are going to have more or less, Fata Morgana effects, things like that. But there is 100 of these pictures. This is from Uruguay, and these all buildings from Buenos Aires. And this is regular pictures. For example, this is a little, no ice line, but it's a little lighthouse. It's not the lighthouse that I'm referring before. This is another lighthouse. And this is all the skyline to Buenos Aires. The nice thing about Buenos Aires is that we don't have so many buildings that reach the 196 meters that you need to compensate for the curvature of the Earth in 54 kilometers. So you can see here buildings that are even belong to Buenos Aires. This kind of building belong to other city which doesn't have buildings more tall than maybe 80 meters away. 80 meters.
Is that city even farther away? Is that city?
Yeah, it's farther away. Yeah, it's farther away, and you can still see, contours
it's
of
it's
those
a mirage.
buildings.
It's a mirage.
It's a mirage. Yeah, it's a mirage. Everything, all this is a mirage.
Looming, super refraction.
Then you have, yes, exactly. Here you can see a lot of buildings, maybe even trees. But all these, it belong to Buenos Aires, not to Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have this is the place where this guy take the picture. That is the tiny island, of course, with the lighthouse. In this picture, you cannot see the city of Buenos Aires. You have people fishing. It's almost I believe it's 2 meters, 2.8 meters above the
sea level
water of the sea level. In this case, the river level. And then you have this is almost at the beach. You can see here the buildings, of course, with that tiny gap there for the atmospheric conditions. Mm-hmm. Then you have let me go back. Well, this is another one with a more powerful zoom. Here you can see where the horizon start to mix with the sky. That is why it's the reflection there. That is a tiny part of the island that you can see in the other pictures. This is another very, very good one. Also 3 meters, 4 meters above. This is a video that I showed before. This is a video, the time lapse, that you can take the boat from Buenos Aires, and the buildings that we have been seeing in the picture. It's I believe it's some part of this one. That is the part of the Buenos Aires.
That's the skyline.
That's the skyline, exactly. Of course, in this video, it doesn't reach the other port in Uruguay, but you can see what we are looking in those other pictures. But this is our similar case that you have with Michigan and Chicago. The night fact.
You also have the sun setting behind that, so you'd get some nice backlit.
Exactly. This is our Canigou too. It's a mix of Canigou and Michigan and Chicago. But the Earth is flat, man. I mean, we have a lot of examples. This is another one that I showed many times before. This is a regular camera 6 meters above the sea level, showing a lot of those buildings. Of course, if you do the math and you take into a consideration the standard refraction, some of these buildings, which are the most tall buildings in Buenos Aires, they match with the math. Right. The problem is that when you start going to the right, you are going to see a lot of other buildings that doesn't match with the math.
I think they definitely reverse engineered, and the whole standard refraction thing is nonsense anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You need to start, talking about super refraction and blah 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 blah.
Blooming.
But yeah, super blooming. Everything is super,
super
because it's
super
not
blooming. I like that one though. Super blooming.
It's super blooming. Yeah, exactly. So,
I thought you were saying blooming refraction.
Blue beam blooming refraction, yeah, exactly. This is the what we are looking. It's 50 kilometers away from that tiny part of the coast of Uruguay to Buenos Aires. But sometimes you can see buildings from here in the other pictures, not just to Buenos Aires, but from here. My city is down here, and this is the path that I took to go, for example, to the airport to pick up Linda if everything's okay tomorrow.
Let's hope.
So that is one of the lighthouse in Uruguay. This is the lighthouse that they use at that time. Of course, the same kind of thing is in Buenos Aires. In Buenos Aires, in fact, we have. Let me just see if I have it here, because Barolo, the guy who built the architect and all the people behind it. It's called Palace Barolo. This was the first one in Argentina. It's the Dante Alighieri story. You have 7 floors representing the seven steps to the sky and this and the 7 infernos, because you have 7 floors down. All the building is complete Freemasonry symbology. It's a beautiful building. In our days, you can go there and just make it like a tour inside. That was the lighthouse that you can see from Uruguay. Of course, in our days, we have more tall buildings in front in the coast of Buenos Aires, so you are not anymore. You cannot see anymore that.
Does the counterpart, Ito, the one that you communicated with, is it a building that's this elaborate?
Yes, the counterpart is like this one, because it was like a twin buildings. You know, you have the Palacio Barolo and Palacio Salvo. This was the name, and you can see it's the same thing. This is in Uruguay. It's called the Palacio Salvo. So both has the same thing.
They're pretty much the same, or they're slightly different? They're different, but they're connected as twins or something? Or is the same architecture?
Yes, exactly. The problem is that what all the picture that I showed before was just this tiny part. From Uruguay to Buenos Aires in this tiny part, which only was 54 kilometers. But the lighthouse was from the capital of Uruguay to the capital of Buenos Aires, and that is 202 kilometers away. And well, this is the story behind it. You can, for example, here is, of course, it's all in Spanish, but this guy was the architect, both was a Freemason, and you have like a mini documentary talking about how it was built, at what time, all the inauguration. I don't know if that is the correct word, inauguración.
Yeah,
the
opening,
the opening, exactly, the opening, the story with this sport event. Everything. You have all the story here, all the story. And now, in nowadays, if you go to Wikipedia, they are telling you that the curvature of the Earth doesn't allow to communicate. So that was just stories.
So the Masons are lying back then, now, right?
And exactly, the Masons was lying back there, and now they are.
They don't.
You know, they don't. So, it's a nice story behind it. It's a nice story. Yeah.
So truthful.
So if you want to, I can stop sharing.
Sure, if you got nothing else, yeah.
Bizarre kind of architecture, the dome stuff there.
Yeah, no, it's the building is amazing. I mean, if you go there, it's a really nice building to see, and the lighthouse itself, the lamp that they used was like 300 lights inside, super special lights, super power lights to reach the other coast. And of course, we don't have that anymore. Everything was changed, and the lighthouse never turned on again. And like I tell you before, if I go, I believe it, Palacio Barolo. Let me just going very quickly in Wikipedia, because I can translate it right now, but let me curva tierra. I don't know where they because they have a puente. Let me check. No, I am not found it right here, but yeah, They changed
Somewhere in there,
maybe they
they're
changed again. Maybe they changed it again.
And they're built around the same time, then as part of the same project, of course.
Yes, it was part of the same project.
Yeah,
exactly.
putting their stamp on the map, right?
There you have it. There you have it. There you have it. Now, in our days, they say this. Let me just translate it to English. So, pick a language.
Yeah, I see here the original idea was to connect the cities with a bridge of light.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and then they're saying finally because of error of calculations. Yeah, there it is, calculation error.
What is it exactly?
Look for calculation. Look for calculation. You find it.
There you have it. The original idea of the Italian immigrant Mario Palantini, architect of both buildings, was to unite the two cities with a bridge of light over the Rio of la Plata from the lighthouse located in the domes of both buildings as a sign of welcome to the region of silver. Finally, due to the calculation error, the lights of both headlights could never be found. And
oh God!
If I put this in the in the Wayback Machines, this was for the curvature of the Earth, not for a calculation error. Can you imagine the money that these guys put in both buildings
and they made a little
early
mistake.
20th century,
Stupid.
and for error of calculations?
Yeah.
No way.
No way, man. This
and now
was
they just
in
don't.
1930s.
And now the lights just don't work anymore. They don't have the lights on.
Yeah, they're not exactly.
Right. So, they wouldn't want to choose to see that bridge of light, of course.
Of course not.
Nobody,
it's like most lighthouses.
Nobody made those errors of calculation with buildings, and I mean,
it's part of the reason they love GPS. They were able to get rid of a lot of these lighthouses because all these boats are using GPS. They don't need to know when they're close to shore anymore.
Yes, exactly. That's but there is a story about I believe was some spacecraft sent from NASA to Mars. I don't know, it was the Beacon or some kind of proof that they crashed the spacecraft because they made all the calculations in kilometers in meters. Yeah, that's a real story, man.
It's a real story. I think the same thing I heard the same story come up again recently, and with Boeing, the same kind of story I heard. Calculation
they changed them. Oh my God! They changed the unit, and then everything was shit. Goes to shit.
Okay, so here it said, for example, it said the original idea, Barolo linked the bridge of light, signed both places, illuminated the night, and their beam reached the other coast. So here,
there you go.
There you have it. In 2013, the idea was complete, but in our days, error of calculation doesn't allow it.
Wow.
Oh,
there
nice.
You have it.
Yeah,
there
I mean, this is
Wikipedia
is the most. It's the closest to 1984 that we have, right? The history that can be rewritten.
Constantly changed every day.
Change every day.
Every day, updated and edited to whatever they need it to be true. And most cases, I mean, this is why I think a lot of the Mandela effect is in play, is so that people read something like this. If thank goodness for the Wayback Machine, but until that's gone, people would read this and be like, "Oh, I thought it used to say that you could see the lights. Oh no, I guess not. I must have misremembered that."
Yeah, they allow you to edit it, right, and pretend that they're gonna allow you to say whatever you want there to add your information when
you know
can't that's also
edit
the
it.
case.
You got to be part of the club. You got to be vetted. I mean, we can't add things to Wikipedia.
It's not so easy. No, it's not so easy.
You can add something to Wikipedia if you want, but it won't be there in a few minutes.
It has to pass a bunch of
unless you're an approved person or whatever.
So someone just sent me that Bill Gates leaves the Microsoft board.
Why?
I don't know. Bill Gates is leaving Microsoft's board. The company announced on Friday.
Maybe he's going to Mars, or he has a coronavirus.
What Q would say.
He's running away from the police.
Yeah, like everyone is going down because all these warrants are coming out, and they say that all these people are getting older real fast now because their adrenochrome supply has been cut off, and they're all going to keep stepping down because they're being unsealed these sealed indictments are coming around.
Wow. Coming soon.
That's what they say, but this has been 3 years now, so we'll see.
Look at Dave's. Open that image you were at the bottom. It says sneezing for science. Dave, go left right there. So this is if you're traveling across there, if you sneeze a few times and they land in Alaska, you'll help prove the flat Earth. So thank you, everybody, for doing that.
That's hilarious.
It's supposed to say seizures for science. Because originally that was Dave's idea, was have a fake seizure on the way over there.
Right.
What's
pretty funny.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
more
good.
proofs. That would be how they shoot themselves in the foot. Everybody starts sneezing in the airplanes, and they start, having to land in places where people are like, "Oh my goodness!" Then it's flat.
Well, it's like Owen Benjamin saying that if everybody's wearing the masks, they're not going to be able to use facial recognition anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, with the mask.
Yeah, it'd be classic.
Yeah, but they have that kind of posture recognition, how you walk and stuff,
Oh boy,
how you move.
I'm going to start walking different now.
Yeah, you have to
I'm going to strut.
try your. Today is Monday's walk. I walk, with this strut here. I use the cane.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man.
goodness.
Yeah. Okay, I'm stop sharing, guys.
Okay.
Thank
you,
Let
thank
me
you.
just right there.
Karen, are you still here? Did she leave?
I am still here, yes.
I enjoyed your 2.5-hour live stream the other day when you attacked that stupid disproving flat Earth video.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Thank
good
you.
stuff. You could do that literally every day with a new article every single day.
You could do it every day if you just because I found that because I was I hear people talking about how they set certain news alerts to certain
Right.
topics like flat Earth and stuff. So I was trying to set that up on mine, and then that came up when I was doing it, and I was like, well, looky here.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it every day. It just gets nauseating to even read it. This is the one that came up today. This is March 12th, so yesterday. It says, Earth is becoming flatter. The world is getting around. Haha, I get it. But first, you're like, all right, what's this guy talking about? It says, last week, CNN's online newsfeed emphasized the fastest growing organizations are the flat earthers. They are now competing flat earth groups. The movement is big and getting bigger. Dave, are you excited about reading that? Dave is probably loving that. When I first reported on this in 2016, I got predictable feedback because there's no middle ground. People either say that's ridiculous, surely there can't be so many stupid people, or else they say I'm a stooge for NASA, because to these people, NASA is the real enemy. For the people who control NASA, like the bankers, Rothschilds, want us to think our planet is a ball. It's one way for lefties to discredit the truth and wisdom of the Bible, which flat out states that our world is motionless and unmovable. So he goes on, and then he tells us ways that we can prove for ourselves. And these are, I'm always like, okay, what's he going to say? How can I prove it to myself? So he says, yeah, if spacecraft images are all faked, astronauts lie because they work for the government. The real Earth is a dish-shaped pancake bordered on all sides by impenetrable Antarctic ice walls. Could we disprove this? Of course, this is nonsense. Nobody believes it's a pancake or anything. Well, you and I know this is actually easy to do. Every telescope shows a cosmos populated by spheres. If every other planet is a ball, why wouldn't ours? It's like day one bullshit nonsense. And what about lunar eclipses when the Earth's shadow strikes the moon, which has been disproved, shown by Eru, a bunch of other crap here. Anyway, flat earthers think they have a rebuttal for everything. But know this, if you run into any of these people, there are 2 foolproof ways to ascertain the Earth's true shape. So let's hear. First way, the next time you watch a sunset, phone a friend who lives on the West Coast or in a far city to your west. Here he goes with the time zones. This is ridiculous. Nobody.
Wow.
I just get so pissed when I read these. It's like, what a bunch of nonsense. People think that that's
It's
proof
actually
that the Earth
proof for flat Earth instead, and they are trying to spin it the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. Or them saying, if you live in L.A. and the sun's at a certain point, call New York and find out where the sun is there. Yeah, well, this is if you take into account that the sun is 867,000 miles wide and 93 million miles away, then they are correct. Then the sun would be the same for everybody. But nobody in the flat Earth believes that or thinks that. The second method would be without the cooperation of a friend. Next time you're swinging in a lake, hold your breath while lowering your head a little until you crocodile your eyes just a few inches above the surface. You'll see the far shoreline vanish. And we've already explained this a million times with things disappearing bottom up. Has everything to do with the angle that you're looking at. Check out my video with, So again, and this
They
is
have
it.
no idea of perspective or anything, how it works.
No, because we weren't taught it.
Studying.
Of course, they don't get it. They'll never get it. With all this, smart people realized Earth's true shape millennia ago. My hero, Aristophanes. I mean, who would ever write that? My hero,
Oh my goodness.
Aristophanes.
That's so stupid.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. My hero, Eratosthenes, who ran the Alexandria Library, of course, yet people who came, who lived in Alexandria, who were also the librarian, never mentioned him in any of the works that they talked about, even correctly calculated the size of the Earth to 1% accuracy. Again, then what the hell went on with Christopher Columbus? How does it make any sense? If they knew the size of the Earth, then he just sailed around and hit India? No, he would be miles, thousands of miles short.
Look at how sloppy it is, right? He says, this guy proved with this accuracy. Who checked that accuracy, right? They
Nobody.
just basically assume, right?
How did he contact his friend 500 miles away? How did they keep in contact? How did they know it was noon at both places? It was just so stupid.
If you go to the first globe, the Earth Apple 1492 globe, and look at the proportions, you can tell that they're more than 1% off that.
Yeah, way off. And it's so funny. I mean, if this was in negative, or in 250 BC, I always call it negative, in 250 BC, and then it took till 1492 for them to build a globe, that's 1,750 years of people knowing the Earth is a sphere, and nobody ever thought, hey, let's map this out on a ball.
For me, it's as simple as this, to turn it around the same way they did it. How can you prove? There's one, there's many, but one that's foolproof. Find me something that rotates that doesn't have centrifugal force.
Right.
That's it. And that they show me that there could be a ball in space rotating the way it is. But because if you cannot spin anything, right, you need to spin something and have no centrifugal force, period. That's it.
It's what they consider rational thinking, and now it's happening again, promulgated by people whose skepticism and mistrust of authority are laudable, but who appear defective in basic science and rational thinking. There's a group of people out there who are definitely defective in basic science and rational thinking, and I hate to tell you, it's not the group that you think it is. These are disconcerting times in this era we live. Yeah, it's the age of deception, and you've been deceived. It's that simple. There's a rational thinking.
There's a moron.
He's a moron. It's a moron. So I applaud you, Karen, because I find an article every single day that's the same type of nonsense, and it's like, do I really feel like going live every day and reading the same thing and bullshit, and this is nonsense, and Aristophanes, my hero, and who the hell writes this?
My
hero.
I definitely couldn't do it every day.
No,
I wouldn't want to do that.
I was going to ask you, Karen, how did you feel after you did it?
You feel gross.
It takes a lot out of you, doesn't it?
It does. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
The one way I've tried recently is that I just kind of turn the ridicule on. You have to kind of make fun of it. There's nothing else you can do by this point. Like what you just said, Jaron. Why can they not get over this Aristophanes guy, right?
Because they have to have something to hold on to. They have to have something that they can makes them feel like everything they've been taught is right. And it's so funny that there's nothing, there's no proof that you can bring out and say, in 1996, they did this test over this length.
Yeah, that's right.
There's nothing like that. They have to go back to 250 BC to make themselves feel good.
Yeah, and
some
then
guy
they
that's
think
not even confirmed. Yeah, go ahead.
Since it's so old that we've known this forever. That's why it works on them. They're like,
or they mention all the Greeks. All the Greeks knew it, and it's not true at all. Like, just go read any text that you're gonna find out it's not true.
Yeah, no, it's just so funny. Or even ancient Egypt, all these people thought that the Earth was as it presents itself, not some nonsense mathematical fiction that's been sold to you in books since you were 2.
And you find that in the academic literature, like people talking about these other systems, cosmologies, these other cosmologies, they're not Copernican and how they were, and they make them, they give you the models, they draw them, like that Hebrew model, with the Sheol under it and the dome and whatnot. Those things have been around for hundreds of years because people understand that these cosmologies are different. They tell us, like it's in the writings, in the iconography, and in the Vedas. It's pretty much what David is shown, the borders of the ocean, that's the edge of the earth. You read the Mahabharata, it comes around all the time when they describe, it's just natural for them that that's how it is. There's the borders of the ocean, there's the limits of the earth. And they say they have a distinction between going to the limits of the earth and crossing an ocean. That's different for them. They have an ocean that surrounds the whole earth, and they can jump. When they talk about an ocean that's being crossed, they talk about an ocean being crossed. But when they talk about the limits of the system, that's the shoreline of the earth. So it's fairly clear that and they are obviously, in terms of technology and organization, when you read the stories, they're light years, to use a terrible analogy, beyond the people in the Romans or these Greeks there that they basically don't have much technology at all, or have much social organization compared to the people described in the Vedas, which are earlier people. So the story then, what we see when you look at this is that civilization doesn't just go up, progresses towards an apex. Things can go down, and things have go down, things have been reset, and these countries and nations go up and down, and that's been described in antiquity as well. So yeah.
Looks like Bob just sent me some article, I guess, from looks like it started with Mike Kavanaugh, but I don't know what this is about. Let's see here. It says, and I translated this, so it's not going to be perfect, I don't think. U.S. Army arrives in Vlissingen Harbor for largest military exercise in 25 years. The tanks and vehicles are intended for the Defender Europe 2020 exercise in Germany, Poland, and the Baltic states.
No, that's right. There's 322 coming, guys. That's correct. Who knows what the heck?
What's 322 supposed to be? That's what Bob said.
That's
Skull and Bones.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
It's another code that's everywhere.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday on the NASA Bluebeam project with Iru. The exercise is the largest Army exercise in Europe in 25 years. A total of 29,000 American, 8,000 European soldiers participate in the exercise. The Netherlands supplies 250 soldiers for the exercise. With the exercise, the U.S. wants to test how quickly it can send 3 combat brigades from America to Europe to respond to a possible threat. The exercise lasts until July. This reminds me of the whole, remember Jade Helm?
Yeah.
That? I don't know if people remember that a while back.
What was that? Was that a drill?
Yeah, they were just shipping tanks and all kinds of stuff all over the United States. I don't remember what year it was. 2016, maybe?
15, I believe.
15, yeah.
Yeah,
Summer
supposedly AI had a lot to do with the directional, the way that they sent everything out. Supposedly AI, they were testing how efficient AI would be to be in charge of the movement, the military movement.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about that a lot with this kill decision being in the hands of AI, and it's just absolute nonsense.
What? Who's saying
But they're
this?
pushing it. Yeah, Pentagon officials are on news programs talking about that.
Yeah.
The decision to kill someone is going to be given by a machine. Is that it?
Yeah, basically what the narrative that they're saying is that the AI would be more efficient at deducing, and determining what the threat would be, and then calling out the orders, which is obviously ridiculous. We have
and they said there was this little. I made a video about it with the RoboCop reference where there's this guy. Well, it's a guy like at a TED conference. I think it was a TED conference in Europe, in Germany, and American guys talking about this AI kill decision and this little robotic tank thing called a Talon. So if you play like Call of Duty, there's a controllable bonus you can get that's like a little tank that drives around and shoots people. It's one of those. And then he said the AI controlled it, and it was like a scene from RoboCop. He said, problem is computers make mistakes, and the damn thing got out of control. And it turned on the generals and the brass and the audience and started to open fire. And luckily a soldier, an ex-football player, came and tackled it just in time and averted disaster. And so I played the scene from RoboCop, and then, because it's like the same thing.
Right.
But I said, well, maybe the AI is very intelligent, and it was calculating, the potential death, because this took place in Iraq before the second Gulf War, I think, or in the green zone at that early time. And it's like, well, it's calculating like who's the real killers, as far as like casualties and this and that. And then it made a calculation because they gave it the kill decision, like they would have it loaded with real bullets anyway. It's just, the whole thing is so bizarre and unbelievable. And the audience sits there and just eat it up. And I just, all I can do is ridicule it, like you said. There's nothing more you can really
Yeah, what are you gonna do? If you get wound up, you get nervous, you're falling in for it on another level, and yeah, I don't know. We know that getting super angry is gonna make you sick.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like it's what it's always trying to do is get you outraged, upset, take you out of, personal relationships, things like that, things that actually matter. It's always pushing for these negative emotions and things like that.
Karen, this looks like I found maybe somebody who actually filmed it off a TV. You see, it's Sky News. This person's filming it right off of TV.
Yeah, because it was a live stream broadcast. So, there's no archive of it. I couldn't find any archive of it.
Right. This looks like it's edited to me, but again, why would they do that? I don't know. Did you see this UAP? I didn't hear your opinion on it earlier. I don't know if you were in there yet.
No, I didn't. I don't see anything on the screen.
We're not seeing the screen.
Oh, well, that's a problem. Hold on. Sorry. I forgot to share my screen after.
Isn't it funny that everyone in a room will look around when that sound comes on? No one knows whose phone it is.
Sorry, my bad.
I just think it's funny. Like, that's everybody's ringtone almost nowadays.
Did you see this UAP, the changing color folder? Color changing folder?
No.
So
it's the wrong color.
Yeah, it changes.
It was red and turned green.
Let me see here. Yeah, so it's red. Looks like it's a live feed, Sky News. Come on. Let's go. Okay, it was working fine before.
It's changing to violet.
Oh,
you got the
denied. Service denied.
Here it goes. Here we go. So watch the folder. It was red, and then it comes out green.
That's hilarious.
I don't know
Wow.
what is going on there.
I have a T-shirt I sell, Teespring, that is that color of green, and then it also has the blue, and it's just those two colors, and it says only real field reporters can wear this shirt. That's what. And I would like. I only believe the news from people who can wear that shirt, because they avoid problems like this.
Great. As it stands now, I'll probably never be able. I got to do something. My computer's stuck now. Way to go. Oh, there we go. Escape worked. Anyway, I don't know what kind of nonsense this is, but certainly.
I've noticed when these governors make announcements of states of emergency, I've noticed anomalies like that, like green outlines around the characters, that type of stuff. And the thing that it reminds me of, I remember a long time ago, it was like early 90s, there was some announcement on the evening news about the death of somebody and the reporter reported it and everything. And then they had a retraction about it. And then they said, well, how could they had to explain how they reported the death of whatever official, and they said that they prepare those things ahead of time so they can get the story out quicker if they believe it could happen. And I don't remember if it was. I thought maybe it was Nelson Mandela, and I cannot find it. But it was like Tom Brokaw or somebody, and they said, "What we have to explain that we pre-record certain news events that we think might happen, so that." If it happens, that we can get the story out first to you. And it's like, well, wait, thinking back, the stories always come out simultaneously on all networks. Like this Corona thing, there's not any independence there at all. So it's just like the thing, Rodrigo, that you showed before about that. I forgot the name of that movie, but that was perfect.
Newsbenders.
Yeah, they planned the news for 1973, and it was like 69 or 70, 67 or something.
67, 68, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, a lot of people being watching this. Edu has made a translation in Spanish that I also sent to some people that I know. It's on archive.org, the full copy of it that you can download. And it's essentially the reporter or the director from the BBC being asked to join the elite and control the news way ahead of time. So yeah, truth in fiction to make it seem incredible.
Yeah, it was great. It really illustrates it.
All right, well, we're at 3 hours. Let's wrap it up. See what else we have going on this week. I know we got Glowbusters Sunday. Edo, are you going to be there? Or you have, when is Linda supposed to get in? Thank you, Edo. Appreciate that. he always bows out a little bit. All right, well, let everybody know what's coming up for you. See if you got anything going on. Karen, what's up with you? Anything new? Anything exciting?
Just doing my regular Thursday show with Brian Stavely, where we alternate between my channel and his channel. We have a show called Unveiling This Realm that we do, and we talk about everything, and we also take calls.
And you guys had Owen on yesterday?
Yeah, we had Owen Benjamin on with us last night. We're starting to book guests, so every night for random shows. So maybe we can have you on at some point, Jaron.
Sounds great.
And maybe some of you other fine panel members here someday, sometime.
They love to be on shows.
We'll have a Mandela discussion.
Oh, yeah.
It can change as we talk. The Mandela effect.
Oh,
when
well,
we come back,
we definitely have people call in and tell us stories where they've seen stuff change right in front of their face. That's happened quite a bit to people, actually.
I want it to happen to me. I haven't seen it yet.
It happened to you, Jaron. Remember with that the SpaceX landing with the live feed when there were the simultaneous.
Yeah, but I have proof that they changed that.
Same.
Yeah, I have proof that they changed that.
Yeah, I know.
But I guess that's kind of what you're saying. But as far as something in reality changing right in front of me, that I want to see. Except for maybe that's what is that what happened with that book? Or are we just being Mandela'd? It was red, it went green. I don't know.
Yeah, I want my computer to change to a better model with much faster and so on. I'm gonna.
Can I get a new car?
Both.
I need a new car. Something a little fancier. No.
I was watching Spaceballs the other day, and Mel Brooks, as the president, says, "My God, even in the future, everything sucks." We're talking about technology.
That's so true.
Thank you very much, Derek T, for the super chat, and I appreciate the 3 super chats today. Fabio, Mark, and Derek. Thank you guys so much. It was a fun show. All right. Thanks, Karen. We'll be tuning into your show. UAP, anything coming up? Anything exciting? You just released a video, right?
Well, I'm going to drop it here in about a half hour. So, yeah.
Okay.
And just talking about the Corona situation, not the beer.
Yeah, I figured. All right. Sounds good. Rodrigo, anything coming up for you?
Yeah. That's correct. Yeah, that's coming up. So I'm trying to just get organized with the coming in the middle of this whole thing. It's not very cool. You know, I talked to, like I said, my cousin in Italy. Things are really bad. There was Zach in Spain running around. I mean, hopefully it doesn't come my way. And so I can say it seems to be okay here. So, I mean, hoping for the best, but also in my channel, I'm going to do some sort of changes to get things a little bit more organized. I need that kind of planning. I'm going to do some sort of already done
system.
And I think a little system. I think kind of inspired by some of the things you showed me before and the ways that you do your shows as well. And the fact that we're here Friday is great. So I'm going to, I've done a few things. We'll see how it goes. If I can keep it up because of all the things that are happening right now. But there'll be a kind of, I'll set up a weekly schedule ahead of time from things that I want to do. So then I don't have any skipping and,
right.
I try to keep things a little bit shorter than 3 hours, So, try to improve things, see what works better. And so that I can do more work actually that's more, not so scattered, a bit more organized. I think it's organized enough, but some people have lower short attention spans and
right. I need to add that to my repertoire. Somehow get a half-hour show in there somewhere, maybe a summary show, something real quick. Name the top things. I know a lot of people can't listen to this for 3 hours, and I've gotten Skype messages from people saying it's too long, and then I've gotten people message me saying maybe we should go longer. So, it's like,
Right.
can't please everybody. Listen to what you can, enjoy what you can, take the good, leave the bad. Thank you very much, Badfish Bear, for the super chat, and for everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys as always. Austin, anything coming up for you?
Just the same old, going live on my channel. Once it gets it, that's about it.
Awesome. We'll be tuning into that, and let's try Iru one more time. Iru, are you there to say goodbye? Tell us what you have
I'm
coming up.
here.
All
Sorry if you asked me before and
all right.
I didn't reply because I am just getting all the pieces together to start a live show for talking about the coronavirus and things like that in the Spanish community. So I was talking with the friends to combine the hours because I am going to do with the guy in Spain and
Nice.
Things like that. So
I'd be lying if
don't-
I'd be lying if I told you I was going to be tuning in for that.
No, of course I know that, man. I know
Do it
that,
on your
but,
English channel though, man, and I'll tune in. I'd love to hear what Iru's got to say, but not in Spanish.
No, and I am relatively very active in my English channel. I have 2 videos to upload in before the weekends finish.
Sweet.
So, but I need to start making more live shows because I only made one. But it's a matter of time. I mean, when I get used to do that kind of show, I'm going to making at least one per week. So.
Awesome.
Remind everybody out there that I have my English channel npt.redpill for those who wants to subscribe. There is.
Awesome, yeah, and support the show, support those that you like. I think all of us. Karen, do you have a Patreon or no?
I do have a
Oh, you do?
Patreon.
You tell us the address because I don't know it. Is it Karen B? Well, I think it's at the bottom of your
Karen
videos.
B. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it's just Karen B.
All right.
Um,
Well, that's good. So thank you to all my patrons, and everybody knows that address by now, I hope. It is patreon.com/jeranism. And then also you can find /anthropology if you want to support Rodrigo, /Nur para Todos to support Iru, /WitsItGetsIt for Austin. UAP, you have one? I don't know what your support options are. Maybe not.
Yeah, I have a UAPCH on Patreon.
UAPCH. Got you on Patreon. All right. So we're all there. If you want to support us, please do so. It helps the shows continue on, and I hope everybody continues washing their hands and staying safe and praying for the... no, I'm just kidding.
And wash your brain, too. Or don't.
As well.
Yeah, wash your brain.
Please. All right, guys. It's been James Harvey just sent a super chat. Says, thank you for your work. My eyes were recently opened to the globe deception. Yes, we're gaining new members. Awesome.
Do you know why there's not that many people with corona?
Why?
Because they're all brainwashed.
Nice.
Thank you.
And with that, we close our YouTube channels. Thank you, David.
No, I forgot Dave was here. Dave, do you have anything coming up? Anything? Aren't you going to get together with Owen soon? We have Raw
Yeah,
on
we're
Monday.
supposed to do a stream tomorrow, but I don't know when. So we should be doing something tomorrow, and hopefully we're all not dead by then.
All right, and we'll be on Raw. We're going to be talking with Jason Lingren about more Corona V. So tune in for that if you want to hear some of the whistleblower information that him
Is
and
it at
Crow
the
got.
same time, Jaron, that this goes on, or no, Monday? Or is it night for you?
No, it's Monday nights. Raw is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Monday. It's a Tuesday mornings
You
here.
know, I always forget that too because I asked like Dr. John D if he wanted to do a presentation on Thursday. He's like, "What time?" Like 12 noon Pacific. He's like, "You mean like 3 in the morning for me?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess not." Or no, I wanted him to do it on Raw. Sorry, and he's like, "I'm not going to come on Raw." But so anyway, but no, he can do the Thursdays because that'll be what Thursday for you guys is what 9 p.m. the show starts or so for you, Rodrigo.
Yeah, today was at 8. I think it changed, didn't it? Yeah.
And I know for Eero it's not too bad. It's like 4 to 7 or something like that p.m. So not too bad of a time. All right, and then Upholdsness or Uphold Super NES. I don't know. Thank you for the 33 Nokia credits, whatever that is. All right, anybody else got anything else to say before we go? Oh, thank you. And I also have an address if people want to mail me something. P.O. Box 3044, Merced, California, 95344. And I believe that's it. Anybody any final words? All right, guess so. Do you guys your own research, please, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. till Sunday for Globebusters. This has been Jeranism. Peace.
Peace.